Didn't expect this, did you? Well, neither did we. Neither did we. So we'll wait until we get a few people pop up on here and get notifications that we're live. I could take a peek at it on my phone, I suppose. See what it looks like. I have no idea what the connection's going to be like. Ooh, how about that? But we want to know what your experience is on your end. Audio, video, please. The quality. The legs are looking white. Yeah, this is kind of impromptu. So I don't expect everybody to see this right off the bat. At the time that it's happening, but we thought we'd want to jump on here and talk to you guys. So again, we'll just hang out here for a little bit, see how long it's going to take until we get enough people on here that we can give you some information and everybody will be on board. And if anybody's got questions, they can ask questions. I don't think you're going to be able to hear it, but there's cows off in the distance. So they may come over. I doubt they come over these microphones. They do on the camera, though, if I had just the camera going. We might be a little...
There's 16 on.
16?
Yeah, 15.
All right. Hello, everyone. Sunny, Ohio. You know, we're shooting an update on video, and Heidi says, can we do a live? And I said, well, we have two routers that are both on AT&T, and the service is pretty good. I don't have the antenna up. I could have put up the antenna and have been a little bit better, but I think we're okay. I think the router that's in the window in the dinette on the other side of the RV and the slide through all this aluminum, I think we'll still do okay. If you guys are looking for, I feel like, hi, my name's Mike Lindell. Let me tell you about my pillow. Well, my name's Mike from RVdaydream. Let me tell you about my internet. But yeah, this internet is really exceptional. I mean, we watch all the TV that we want to watch. We watch all the movies we want to watch. We have hardly any T-Mobile signal out here without the antenna up, which the antenna is down, which I'll talk about that. Remind me to talk about that. And we've been connected. We've been connected to the phones. The phones have been connected to our internet full time, every day, day after day. I'm gonna get a drink of water because I think I might be talking for a little bit. Not a lot though. We got stuff to do today.
EasyCom's in the link in the description, right?
Yes, please go check it out. Just tell them that we sent you. If you want to talk to them on the phone, use the link that tells them where you're coming from, because they have home replacement setups. I mean, people are getting rid of their home internet and going with them for their internet needs, because they have, I mean, like the setup we have, the one we're keeping kind of, because it's like a little bulletproof thing that's about so big that we bring in the truck when we're traveling, and because I have an inverter built into the truck. The truck came with a 400 watt inverter in the dash, so we just plug it in the dash and set it in between us in the back on the toolbox till I drive like a butthole and it falls off. But it's got two, you know, we just put the antennas up and we use that internet if our T-Mobile don't work as we're driving down the road, which we've done. But we also have their Beam router, and that one, I mean, it's high priority. It's just check it out. I don't know how else to describe it, but make sure you mention RVdaydream. If you're talking with anybody there, I think the one guy's name's Todd.
I believe so.
And then, of course, Jesse. Yeah, just tell them that you talked with us. That way they know that you're an RVer or you come from that kind of, what you've heard what I had to say about it. So that helps them kind of already narrow down because they get calls from companies. They get, they have no idea who they're talking to. So that kind of references that. Um, but yeah, it's spectacular. I mean, it's been really, really good for a long time now. We've had it for quite some time. This new system we haven't. So the antenna that you can also buy from EasyCom, you can buy all the Wilson WeBoost. They're a dealer. They're an authorized dealer. Like we have the little sleek 3G, which I don't think they sell anymore. It's a different brand, but inside the truck that one of the phones sit in, and that helps with our T-Mobile signal when we're driving down the road. But the big 25-foot antenna that goes outside of our RV that we don't have up currently, they sell all that stuff. You hear how loud that is? I can't believe you guys. I really wish you guys could hear these cows. They're just really loud.
They can hear the birds.
Oh, they can?
Yeah.
Oh, well, the cows are pretty loud. No, not me. Not that cow. So unfortunately, that RV65 antenna we don't have up because the brackets that go to the side of the RV, the adhesive adheres awesome to the RV if you do the correct cleaning up and prep, and it adheres awesome to the plastic bracket that the antenna slides into. The problem is it rips in half. So I got a bunch of crap on this bracket. I got a bunch of crap on the RV, but no support. This is the second time that's happened. Or we'd probably have, we would definitely have even a better signal than what we currently have right now. Did you hear that? That's pretty loud. If the truck wasn't in the way, might be able to hear it a little bit better. By the way, how's Heidi's audio? Rub your microphone, please.
Hello, hello.
And then mine. Are they separate? Sometimes we feed off of each other's, not knowing that one's not working. How many people we got?
We have 34.
34. We're getting pretty good.
Well, for Saturday.
Yeah, for Saturday.
It's pretty good afternoon.
And we didn't tell you guys we were going to be here. Nothing. Well, let's try
they say they hear us both.
Good.
So that's good.
Awesome. Let's try to get you into an update of some kind. I had a clip that I was going to upload when we first got here of the park. Let's try this, guys. This is purely experimental, so don't give me crap if it fails and we lose connection. Heidi will yell if we lose connection. It may buffer, but I don't know. I'm going to try to see how good our long range is on our thing. So I'm going to take you guys. I'm going to unplug the power supply to the phone, grab the little wireless mic. Let's go explore. Here's the campground that we've been at for 2 weeks now. And we plan on being here for about another 2 more weeks. You can see the farm that's off in the distance. And you can't hear the cows, though. So we do have somebody right on the other side of us, but we haven't even seen him. He stays inside of his RV. He comes out rarely. But this is all ours. I mean, I was up on that hill. You can see the guy there in his motorhome. I'll show you kind of what it looks like on the other side. Good news on this hitch. I'll talk about that in a video pretty soon. But you can see our setup. Kind of cool, huh? This is our view, though. We got traffic that travels this road out here. This road is actually the same road that kind of goes by our house. If you take this road that way, there's once you go so far around the curves and everything, there's a 3/4 jog, and then it's on our road, the one that used to go by our house. Okay, so
Oh, that worked.
it did good.
Yeah.
That'll give you a little idea. Let me plug you guys back in for power reasons and get you all centered up. There we go.
It's a little delayed.
Yeah, there'll be a little bit of a buffer. Whew, it's a little bit warm out there. We have a fan blowing on us. So we're in Ohio. We've never had a problem with Ohio summers, other than maybe when it gets a little rainy and that they're not long enough. But this is in the middle of Ohio summer, so you can see, or I'll try to show you guys. This is our weather that we're experiencing.
I'll tell you here.
So it's pretty nice. It's in the 80s every day. It's good enough for us. It's humid. It's very humid. We do like that. Whew. Woo.
Herbie's here.
Hey, Herbie. We was talking about you on our camera, and then we decided to do this live update instead. So we kind of gave you the walk around, just showed you real quick. This is Paradise Lake. This is the campground that we've been at a couple times. We were here with our old RV in our old truck 2 times. And the first time was 2016, maybe 15. I can't remember.
Somewhere around
For
there.
4th of July, because they used to have, because of C-19, they didn't have anything this year, but they used to have a pretty big fireworks display that they set off here. And then we were here in 2017, and that was with our old RV and our old truck. We almost got stuck out here, but that was the other part of the park. This is a part of the park that they're trying to expand upon, but I just don't think that they have the funds to do so.
Yeah.
There are lots of power poles that are out here, and I think the water's in ground, but they don't have the hookups for it. And the sewer, I don't know. They may not have sewer at all the sites, but this site here, which is kind of I won't call it a buddy site because you face different opposite directions.
Yeah.
Usually buddy sites, you face each other. You could, I guess, you could face each other. But the site itself is really spacious. I mean, if I come outside, I don't have to put a shirt on or anything like that to come out here. There's some people up on the hill that might be able to see this big white beacon if I come out without a shirt on, but it's other than the traffic, which this is a country road. It's probably more traveled now than it is during the week because it's a farm. It's all farm country out here. So Paradise Lake RV Park in East Rochester, Ohio. We stayed at it before, again, but we stayed at the other side where the lake is and all the firewood and the propane, and the dump stations, and almost all the campers. They have so many sites over there, and they have so many sites which I've showed in previous videos out in the field that are electric and water, no sewer. I can't imagine them ever running out of sites.
Yeah.
Ever.
They have a lot of property here.
And I think somebody with a decent amount of money needs to come in and make some changes.
Yeah, there's like 10 sites here.
Yeah. No,
2 mobile homes.
I'll cut Heidi off a little bit. It's about 10 RVs here. And like she said, 2 mobile homes. And we're talking, it's got to be about 8 acres, right?
Yeah.
It's about 8 acres, and there's only 10 sites across all of them. It's got to be more than that, actually, because...
Yeah.
No, 10, about 10 acres.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, it's about 10 acres here. So...
I'm not sure what they plan on doing with this. I think they're just biding their time with the property.
It could be. So, you guys have seen, we were talking about coming to the area, our last video. And when we got here, there was a lot of things that we had to do. Number one, we came here so I could go to the VA and get checked out. I got checked out. I did a sleep study. I haven't heard anything from that yet. They'll probably just send me a sleep machine at that point. I have a consult for colonoscopy, but that's not until November. We're not going to be here. No way. We'll
Well,
have.
we hope not.
Yeah, we hope not.
Right.
The only reason we'd be here is because of other family health issues, which there are some existing right now. But we I went to the VA. I've already got all my blood work back and everything, and other than my bad cholesterol for the second time ever in my life being slightly elevated, I everything passed. All the lab work, and I mean they did a lot. Every single thing, urine specimens, the stool specimens, all the blood work, everything came back with no issues whatsoever. Other than I don't know about the 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 stool thing.
That's just to make sure you didn't have any blood in there.
Yeah, I think so too. Which I didn't expect that. I think we went
Plus, if
drinking
they
the
find
night.
anything, then you definitely getting a colonoscopy,
Yeah.
which you probably will anyway.
Right, right. But the checkup's fine. And basically, what that means as far as my health is, I think I'm just getting to the age where I used to be a human garbage disposal, and I can't do that anymore. I can't just eat whatever I want when I want. Now, I know that I've been cutting back late at night, but it's been driving me crazy because, well, I used to have a big bowl of ice cream and go to bed. That way I'd have dreams with all that carbohydrates in me and sugar and stuff when I was sleeping. But I can't do any of this stuff anymore. I can't eat salsa and stuff late at night. I mean, there's a lot of things that it changed. It just changed. So I think I was kind of coming to grips with that, and I was thinking that maybe there might be some other issues because I've never experienced that before. But it seems like everything's normal. So Heidi and I's working on the diet. I'm still about 13 pounds less than what I was when we were out in Sholo, Arizona, and that high elevation and all this started. That was,
I think I'm about 10.
yeah. We need to go so much more.
Yeah.
We're
We're trying.
we are trying.
It's hard whenever we're taking people out to eat, they're taking us out to eat, and, obviously we like food.
Yeah,
We love food.
Heidi and I, you got to think about it. I mean, for 30 years, her and I have enjoyed going out and having dinner together and lunch together
Yeah.
and trying new places together. And even our very first official date, we went to Pizza Hut. I mean,
Yeah.
so it's always been that way. And it's really hard for us to get out of that habit. But health-wise, we feel really good. Of course, we're in our, where we've
Well,
lived so long. I'm not
right.
getting affected by it, but a little bit of ragweed, I think.
Plus, we're at lower elevation.
Oh yeah,
That was a big thing for you.
that was
Even,
horrible.
waking hours for you. It might have not shown up, but
Right. So the reason we were here initially was for that. Now, once we got here, we started realizing, wait a minute, since we're going to be stationary for a little while, because we didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know once that blood work come back if it was going to say, hey, you need to go to the hospital. We need to do more, and we got to do an upper GI. We need to do this. We need to do that. We didn't know any of that. So we reserved our location here for a month. So again, let's close out that part of this park. We can stay here indefinitely as long as we want.
I think October 15th they closed.
Yeah,
though.
we ain't staying that long, but yeah. I mean, we could if we wanted to. We are tentatively here until September the 3rd, I believe. We might have to extend that a little bit, and I'll tell you why. But the park itself, we pay for electricity. I think when I checked my phone the other day, I think we're at $50. We run all the stuff in here. We run an air conditioner all night long. We put the air conditioners on automatic if we leave. We have no problem with the power and being charged for electricity. It's not very expensive. The site itself is 400,
425.
425 for a month. So you can't beat it. I mean, it's nice. It's an inexpensive place to stay for us, and it's close to. Well, we're about 5 miles from our old house, so you can get an idea that it puts us kind of centralized for a lot of stuff locally. So while we were here waiting for what we thought was going to be, maybe some bad news as far as the health goes, which we appreciate you guys shooting good wishes our way and blessings. I appreciate that because, I didn't know. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know how bad it was going to be. But at that point in time, once we realized, hey, we're still here for a couple more weeks, maybe we should be looking at other stuff. Well, we had already put the ball in motion for the rear axle on the RV. Yeah, somebody had asked, they said, didn't you just replace an axle? Yeah, the front axle on the RV, there was a goofy issue. And they sent us a new one, and I installed and replaced it in Yuma. And it's been fine ever since then. The back one started showing the same. It's now that the front one's nice, straight up and down. The back one, immediately it looked like, oh, that one kind of looks like it's out a little bit. And as we drove, it got a little bit worse. I mean, so anyways, we put in a thing with Dexter. The agent they assigned the case to got promoted or changed departments or something. So I think we slipped through the cracks because I asked after a week and a half, I'm like, hey, what's up? And basically got a canned message that told us, hey, if you're sending, automated message, let's just say that. When I say canned message, I mean an automatic email reply from the agent that said, I have now switched to another department. If you have a case outstanding with me, please put the case number in the subject and, tell me what's going on. Well, we basically said, what's going on? And he replied, hey, I'll get that axle out to you. There'll be another axle sent to you. So we confirmed our address, that we needed a lift gate, and it wasn't going to a dealer, and just delivered to Heidi's mom's house.
That's going to be fun putting in the back of the truck.
It's not heavy. As long as the back of the truck's cleared out, I can pick that up. That's not a problem.
I just remember helping.
Yeah,
I did. I picked it up.
yeah.
Got it over to underneath there.
Yeah, I carried it over to the RV, and then you helped with...
No, I carried it I picked up one end.
You did?
Yeah.
Maybe I carried the old one?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. I don't remember. It's not heavy, though. I mean, I can carry it. Well, I don't know. Maybe it is heavy. I don't know. I'm too dumb to know any different. I just pick it up.
Maybe you shouldn't be picking it up.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't be picking it up. So the sweat bees. We got the fan running. I hope that's not coming across on the camera. We have a fan running, trying to keep the sweat bees off of us.
Yeah, there's something else out here.
Yeah. I just checking that out. So we're waiting for that. Let's just say we're waiting for that. Now, the process that they had before was once they say, we'll ship you an axle, they're in Indianapolis, so they're closer. Then they ship it to, or then they send the order in for it to be built. Depending on where they're at in their build process, they build it, and then the shipping department will eventually ship it out.
But we are priority.
Yeah, we are a priority because it's a warranty. So I have mixed feelings about the Dexters. We only have maybe 15,000 miles towing on the RV. So this RV's probably seen maybe, I don't even think that. It's been under 10,000 miles that these problems started arising.
Yeah.
So I have mixed feelings that the axles failed, but I think that somebody had mentioned that they had a recall on both of their axles on their Rockwood, and it was real close to the build date of ours. I think theirs was just a little bit earlier.
I think that's why they're just warranting them out
Yeah.
if somebody sends pictures or whatever.
So I have no problem with what's going on because their warranty process is so easy. I don't like the fact that I've got to replace my axle and then my tires got wore a little bit, weird. But kudos to them to take care of this the way that they have. I'm gonna flip this around so I can see what our battery level is. I don't want to run out of. Yeah, it's good. We've got our Rode wireless mics. We have another set of Filmmaker wireless mics they're pretty expensive, very nice, last extremely long. That's what almost all our live chats are. When we travel through RV parks and show you RV parks and stuff, and we have good audio, which we're going to make sure we have good audio hopefully from now on. That's these little microphones, and these things are killer. Oop, I got mine on backwards.
You talk about
I always yell at Hardy about that. There we go. That way you guys don't have to see the whole thing. So we're waiting on that axle.
Opal says next time you do the axles, check the saddle mounts. He says, I bet they're not parallel or horizontal to each other.
Well, it
has nothing.
It's a pretty integral part of the frame. It's a pretty solid bracket. See, here's the thing. I would agree with you on that, except for the fact that when we got the RV, it was straight up and down.
Yeah.
When we put on the replacement axle, that front axle, the tires and wheels are straight up and down again. The rear ones are out. Now, apparently they were all out a little bit.
But we didn't notice.
I couldn't tell that the back ones weren't, because they weren't out as far as the front ones. But no, the bracketry underneath there is very solid. And I have no doubt that when they send a new axle and I bolt it up, the tires will be back up and down the way they were when we first got it, because the front axle still is straight. I mean, it's perfect.
Even when we stop.
Yeah,
and getting
I could see
weird angles.
I could see the bend from it. It had something to do with the axle stub itself, because the axle stub coming out of the suspension arm just had everything was perfectly straight except for that, and a little bit on the rubber mount going into the axle tube, just slightly. Anyways, I didn't really overanalyze it because they were replacing it. I'm like, you know what? As long as it's straight when I put it on there, and it was. So
10 years, right?
I think it's a 10-year warranty. We do like the ride. I mean, as far as us, the stuff that we've gone through in that, we like that it's quiet. It's very quiet. You don't get any of that leaky leaf spring that you got to go back and lubricate something, in one of those wet bolts. Like our old RV didn't have wet bolts, so I was just lubricating all kinds of crap to keep it quiet. We're very happy with the Dexters for those reasons, but I don't like the fact that I had a problem with them. But we're waiting on that. I have to. I'm very happy that I have it. There'll be a review video that I may shoot probably tomorrow, I guess. We have a slew of nice days, so of a replacement. We have that ProPride hitch. If you guys have a travel trailer, you may want to consider it. It's expensive, but if you're going to be towing any period of, any long distance at all, the peace of mind is incredible.
The unhooking and hooking up is...
Yeah, very easy. Look at these two grasshoppers.
Oh, a duel.
They're going to duel. Yeah, I should spin you guys around to see that. I don't know maybe they're mating?
I don't know.
They just landed and they started walking towards each other. And now they're, one didn't like the other.
Get it.
So the thing with the ProPride is they're making improvements all the time to their design, and they've just come out with a new design for something that I've had a problem with as far as the noise-wise. It does a good job. It's just, I didn't really like the way it was set up, and that is the jacks. The jacks that lift and do the supporting of the spring bars. They changed the design. When I first started thinking about ProPride, of course I was comparing it to Hensley. ProPride is a hitch that is a Jim Hensley designed piece. The owner of ProPride, Sean, he's an engineer of some kind too. So here's the deal. I think he's an engineer, but all I know is that Sean used to work for ProPride or Hensley. He dealt with all the failures and all the problems that the Hensley design had during his time there as like vice president or whatever it was. He was in charge of sales, customer service, I don't know. But he dealt with all the problems that they had with their design. So he left that company. And when Hensley, Hensley wasn't, Jim Hensley just sold the rights to the patent rights to Hensley Hitch Company for them to produce the Hensley Hitch because so many people were asking for it. And he wasn't a part of that company necessarily. He just said, yes, you can have my rights. He sold those rights, and they only lasted so long exclusively to just Hensley Hitch. Whenever that time period was up, Sean left Hensley and he started ProPride. He got hold of Jim Hensley, the original designer, and said, hey, I'm wanting to upgrade that design from that Hensley has, and I want you to help me re-engineer this. Or they consulted on some level. I don't know what the level was, but that's when they came out with which would actually be called if it was the same company, it'd be called the Hensley Hitch 2.0. But it's a different company. It's ProPride. And one of the things the Hensley Hitch did have that I thought was kind of cool was the way their jacks work. And if you guys don't understand it, the jacks on the front, they don't have snap-up brackets. They do have a ratcheting system if you have some confinement issues like a V-nose or something like that. But they have instead to lift the weight distribution bars, instead of a snap-up bracket with chains or some kind of a pry bar that lifts it up on an L bracket, instead they have these solid bars and then these trailer jacks that pull up on those bars. As you tighten the jacks, they get taller and they pull those spring bars up to the tension that you need, which is really nice because you're not counting links. You don't need any special tools except for a drill, which we use a drill to raise and lower it. But you don't have a bar. You don't have to worry about something snapping back. Heidi does it. She never did the snap-up brackets except to loosen them when all the tension was pretty much off. But she does these all the time because it's just the drill. But I didn't like the fact that it was a solid bar. It was metal to metal contact with no way to cut the friction on those things except for me to spray some grease on it. And that was in 2 different points. And the jacks, the more tension you put on them, the taller they got. And as far as the way they mount to the frame, they were okay. They've never moved. But anyways, they have new jacks now that have spherical rod ends, or what people call Heim joints. I'll do an installation on it. I am so happy to get those. That is just so much better design. And the jacks basically start off long and they collapse the more tension you put on them. So it's more compact. That is something Hensley did have on theirs that I'm glad that ProPride has. Good decision. So anyways, we'll do a video on that. So another reason that we're delayed here, because I have to do that. We have a bunch of people coming out. I'm reaching over for our electric bikes. We've been Facebooking these things on the marketplace for a while now, and Heidi's been fielding the craziest. You know what it is? Everybody, it's just like anything else.
A lot of people want them.
They want them, but they don't want to spend the money for them. I mean, we've had guys that tell us, oh, you're crazy. I think, what are we selling them for now?
$27.25.
Yeah, $27.25. We lower it to change our place in the marketplace. But we got $2,700 on them. It cost us $3,300, and they were on back order. They only have 300 miles on them. So they're currently on back order with Rad Power bikes now. And we got these people who are like, yeah, I could buy them new for $1,600 and and $1,700. That, I mean, if you do the math, you're going to be paying more for that, and that's without the racks. You know, we installed the racks on here, and those racks were, I think it's $140 or $120 for the 3 racks that we have extra. Anyways, and these are assembled. You know, there was some assembly that we had to do and some adjustments when we got it. We already changed the display. We got into the programming. We made them to where they run 24 miles an hour instead of 20 miles an hour. I
They're
don't know.
nice bikes.
They're nice. Yeah, they're really nice. And like I said, everybody, they want them. They definitely want them, but they want to pay. I think the closest offer we got was $2,000. They wanted to pay $1,000 per bike. You can't buy something like these for that. You can buy those electric bikes, which we have on order. We'll talk about that in a second. But we have those electric bikes that they're $990. Good luck with that. 10 weeks. It's been on back order when we first ordered. It said it was going to be. They told us it was going to be 7 weeks. They told us 7 weeks. Online, it said it was going to be 4 to 5 weeks when we ordered it. So we waited 7 weeks. It's been 10 weeks.
Been a long time. That's
One
for
of them's
sure.
coming. One of them's en route, and it's supposed to be here next week. The other one is a label's been created. I don't know what that means because that doesn't give us a delivery date until UPS actually has it in their hand. Well, if it's any comparison to the last one, a label had been created for 4 days before it actually went into FedEx's hands.
I would say if you're getting them for transportation, you better buy yourself a cheap bicycle until you get them.
Yeah, right.
Get them.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, probably from any company.
Yep. Yeah, and same with the Rad Power bikes. There's shortages. There's shortages. So we've been dealing with that. The thing is Heidi and I both know that the Rad bikes are a better riding bike, a better traveling bike. They're a more traditional bike. They're easier to pull into the bike racks, except mine. I got a pretty big fat tire on the front of it, but I still can work with it. But it's a traditional bike. Everything looks really traditional about it. The problem that we have is loading it in and out of the truck. If we had the room that we didn't have to disassemble these things, we would keep them. There's no reason not to.
Says, do you enjoy the electric scooter over the electric bikes?
I do, yes.
He does. Me, not so much,
Yep.
unless we have.
Heidi doesn't have suspension on hers.
Well, but we gotta have, we gotta have like flat pavement, concrete.
Mine you
no
can
gravel.
ride through the dirt. You can ride on trails. You can ride over gravel. You can jump, which I have, jumped over curbs. Speed bumps are so fun. Doing 25 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour and jumping speed bumps is awesome. It's fun. But it accelerates faster than any of the e-bikes. It is easier to load and unload. It is a disadvantage when you're riding down sidewalks and they got overhanging trees because I'm standing up really tall. I mean, I got to be probably 7 foot tall, right, when I'm going down the sidewalks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tall.
So I mean, so you got to duck around that. Disadvantage there. It's faster, and the battery lasts longer. It picks up faster. It stays with traffic easier. Heidi don't ride in the traffic that much. If she's on her bike, she will, and her bike does pretty good. The Rad Rover with the direct drive hub, the geared hub, is a little bit slower because of how heavy the bike is, how heavy I am, and hers is a direct drive hub. It's just quicker, so she can stay up pretty good with traffic and everything with hers. But yes, if I had to do it over again, I think we would have probably maybe thought about getting Heidi a scooter with suspension. I'm still thinking about that a little bit, but I'm going to tell you, if you are in an area that you don't mind riding on the streets, and the streets are good, the bike lanes are good, you don't have a lot of cracks, sidewalks even, as long as the sidewalks aren't too bad. You know, I'm talking about you can't have a lip bigger than that. Heidi's scooter, which did we put that in our store? Yeah, it's in our
Yeah.
store. Heidi's scooter is the best scooter by far, just in general rule of having a scooter that's easy to carry, easy to fold, easy to put away, easy to charge, easy to read, easy to lock up, and it gets you around. It does a good job getting you around. They make suspension to add onto her scooter. They make a seat that adds onto her scooter. They make an extra battery pack that you got to be a DIY type person, that you can put on the scooter to make it a little faster with a little bit longer range. But still, she can do 19 miles an hour, and she can go about 16 miles at 19 miles an hour. She's never done that, but I've seen plenty of reviews of guys that are 200 pounds, 6'3", that have gone almost 20 miles full speed with those things. I like her scooter so much more. I'm too heavy for it. I still ride it, but I'm too heavy for it. It would fail after a while. And there's no suspension on it. The tires are the only suspension. When we are on, again, smooth ground, smooth streets, smooth sidewalks, I like hers a lot. But mine's a tank. It really go, but you also pay for it. Mine's 3 times as, no, is it 3 times as much?
Scott Dino says, "Give me a wave at the camera." I know.
Oh.
I'm looking down here.
Yeah.
Hello.
What was the, yours was 800
I think so.
and mine's like 1800.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference, huge difference. My scooter's more expensive than my Rad Rover 5. My scooter's more expensive than Heidi's Rad City 3. But it's the best transportation that we have, that I have, that I could go pretty much anywhere with that thing. And you stay up with traffic. Now, I picture me getting in trouble because some of these scooters at some of these states, you're not supposed to be able to go over a certain speed. But a lot of them say 30 because they actually lump them in with gas-powered scooters. And it'll do 30. I can be on the street doing 30. I mean, it gets it. So I like it. It's a little trigger happy, little fast. I've had 135 people that have gone and used our link in the description for that scooter, and none of them bought it because the price is, it's shocking. I'm telling you, you're getting a good quality piece of equipment. The only thing that I would suggest is that you buy the extra charger, because we have 2 chargers. I have the one that comes with it, and I have a super fast charger. And the reason is you can plug in 2 chargers at the same time. That battery's pretty massive. It's 72 volt, I think. It's a 72 volt battery, and 2 chargers. It charges a lot faster that way. If not, you'd use that slower charger. It takes all night long to get it back up. But I haven't charged it for how long now? And we've been on quite a few trips.
Yeah.
The voltage is still at like 56 volts. They say you don't have to worry until it's like at 46 volts, I believe. Anyways, yeah, I prefer the scooter. The problem is the making sure you're lost, just knowing the laws. Because in Oregon, you cannot ride on the sidewalks with that at all. And you can't ride on the sidewalks with electric bikes at all. Electric bikes, you don't need a helmet, but electric scooter, you do have to wear a helmet, even though you're an adult. Or, I don't know, maybe I'm not an adult.
You're a small man child.
Yeah. Yeah. No, a large man child. I'm definitely not small.
Large.
So the bikes are a little bit more traditional, a little bit more everything, I guess, you would think of. But if you have no problems riding a scooter, if you can ride a skateboard still, then get it at. Heidi can't ride a skateboard.
I never rode a skateboard.
But she can ride her scooter.
Oh, yeah. I can ride your scooter, too.
Yeah, she rides my scooter also.
Carefully.
It's smooth. Yeah, I take it and put it down on the lowest settings. Because with me on it, that front tire spins on bare pavement. If you got both motors on and you got it on non-eco setting, on a power setting, what they call a turbo setting, and you pull that trigger full from a dead stop, that front tire just spins. You'll hear it going as you take off. And in the gravel, I mean, it's both tires. They're both spinning. So,
All right, enough with the scooters and the bikes.
yeah, the links are down below for all that stuff. We always say that. Um, what else? We're waiting for those bikes to be delivered. The WeBoost, we already talked about that. That our WeBoost antenna we had to take down because the adhesive came apart.
I already talked about that. You got Alzheimer's?
Did I talk about that on this or that video we shot?
No, I'm pretty sure you talked about it on
Yeah,
this.
see, now you're not sure. So anyways, we're hanging out. Do we have something else coming? So the Dexter axle, the bikes, and something else, right? I think that might be it. So what are we doing after this? Leaving here whenever, but we know it's going to be before September 14th. September 14th, we're going to the Hershey RV Super Show. Hopefully, they've got good inventory. Hopefully, all the dealers show up. The dealers don't need to have any kind of show at all because they're selling everything. They got inventory, it's gone. But the Hershey RV Show is next, and
We'll be there from the 14th, well, the 15th to the 17th.
yes, we
So far.
hey Herbie, you still on here?
He is,
Moderating?
yes, he's moderating, and he's also in the comments. He's talked about Trogs
Good.
on the 16th at 6 p.m.
Herbie, Heidi's going to forward information to you. She's going to forward information to you on who we contacted. We got press passes
Yeah.
for the show. We don't have to buy tickets.
Yeah.
You have an RV channel,
Yep.
so you need to do the same.
So, he would like to be emailed at redjaguar100travels@gmail.com for a head count.
Yes.
So if you got a few people going, let him know.
Come on out.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I'll be perfectly honest. I hate beer. I am
It's a very
not
nice place,
a beer
though.
drinker. I liked the place. It's big. It's open. It's a fun atmosphere. Kind of reminds me of when I was in Germany, going to some of the cantina, the tents that they had set up, or the canteens. It just reminded me of that. Of course, back then that was all military, so that took some of the fun out. But it was a nice environment, and it's a good time. You can meet up with everyone, not just us. I think Traveling Robert's supposed to be there. I don't know. And Herbie's going to be there, of course. So come on out if you're in the area. We'll be there, like Heidi said, for those days for sure. We talked about our upgrade that we have to our membership with 1,000 Trails, and it's already paying itself back immediately. We have a great itinerary as far as stays. We're going to take our time. Once we leave Hershey, we're going to go to North Carolina, kind of close to the coast, right? It's not that far from the coast. I don't remember exactly where it is. Do you remember where it is? Oh,
You need the list?
yeah, because I don't
Because
remember.
I have them all written down.
Yeah, I want to see. This is our.
I have a list of every single park that we've been to so far here.
Our plans.
Well, and what we've been.
This is our plans right now. Subject to change, but I want to see where this is because I don't even know. It's Whispering Pines is the name of the park.
Yeah.
It's in Newport, North Carolina, and it's right off the ocean. It's really close to
We'll
the
be
ocean.
there for
what was the? So then the next place after that,
Yeah.
we're paying for. We're doing a little short,
Florida,
tiny
3 day.
3-day thing at Myrtle Beach. We're going to be at Ocean Lakes, Myrtle Beach. We're just going to be there for 3 days because we want to go there. We want to stop. It's on the way. We have already at that point been in North Carolina for 3 weeks. We'll be at no charge. And like I said, it's real close to the ocean. I'm talking really, really close to the ocean. So it'll be nice to see what that area is like. Might be a flop, we don't know, but we get to experience it for 3 weeks. And then again, Myrtle Beach, Ocean Lakes, and that'll be for just the 3 or 4 days. Then after that, we're going to Daytona, Florida, to Rose Bay RV Park. And that one, of course, Daytona, it's close to the beach, and we'll be there for 3 weeks. And again, we don't have to pay for that. This is part of that new adventure membership that Thousand Trails has. We've got links in the description how to contact everybody for that. But the fact is, we get to go to the Encore Park and stay for 3 weeks. And we can go park to park to park. After that, we're going to Eustis, Florida, which is inland, and we're only there for 3 or 4 days. And it's because our 21-day gap didn't quite meet our next stay after that. So Daytona for 21 days, this Eustis, Florida for about 4 days. Then we're going to what we were last year, Wildwood, Florida, which is just outside the Villages, and we'll be there 28 days. Now, I know this might be a little confusing, but that 28 days, that reservation was on the books with our old membership. And when you get the new membership, they don't cancel out. They don't cancel out your reservations. You get to keep them. So even though we're only supposed to now have 21 days in a Thousand Trails park, we have a 28-day stay at Wildwood. So that'll bring us into December, I think. December 5th. And then after that, we're going to Orlando. Now, on purpose, because we're getting smart on how this Thousand Trail stuff works, we purposefully found out when the high use season starts in Orlando, and we backed up our reservations 2 days prior to what they considered high use. Now, if you don't know, if you try to go to a high use park and make a reservation during high use, you only can stay 2 weeks. With your membership like we have, you can pay $99 and you can stay a third week. That's what we did last year. But this year, we made our reservation before high use started. And we made the reservation for 28 days. So that takes us all the way through January. And we're going to be in Orlando that whole time. So we're going to be moving very few parks. So from now till then, we have money we are spending in Hershey. That RV park's kind of expensive, but I can't, I started figuring out Ubers and stuff like that. They have a shuttle that runs back and forth to that show
Nice.
every day.
Like every
multiple times, like every
30 minutes.
Yeah,
or something.
it's just constantly. So we couldn't put a value on that. I mean, we could, but nonetheless, that's the reason we don't mind paying a little bit extra for that park. So once we pay there, and we pay in Orlando, we pay in Myrtle Beach for those 4 days or 3 days. Other than those 2 times, we're not spending any money all the way until January. So what are we doing with all that extra money that we're spending? We're buying a brand new truck. I'm kidding. Bought me a dually. I need a diesel. I barely got through those mountains. I could only do 65 miles an hour through the mountains. I definitely need a diesel. Anyways, I talked about that. If I was towing through those mountains consistently, I'd definitely get a diesel, but we don't plan on going through those mountains that much more. Maybe in the future a little bit, but not like we did. So the thing that we're going to do is, we've talked about this numerous times, or we alluded to it, I should say. And the whole idea was when we hit the road here and we were traveling, we were going to look at all these places and think, is this a place we wouldn't mind moving to? And we've talked about that. Maybe you haven't picked up on it, but like when we were in Washington and Oregon, we were looking at it hard. Is this an area we'd like to be at? They only get an inch of snow a year, but it's cold. It was cold.
It's too cold.
I couldn't do that. It was cold during the summer. We want that heat. If we moved inland, we probably would have got that. But honestly, the gas prices were high. You had all those fires going on. I liked the area. We really considered it. Her and I sat up late at night in bed talking about, what do you think about this area? What do you think about that area in Oregon and Washington? And that was a tough, I don't know, how did you, it was good. It was nice. I think it just had to come down to the cost of living out there. Hey,
Which
I'll be
was it?
honest with you, the homelessness was kind of strange for us to see.
Yeah.
We don't see that normally. I mean, that's a problem. It's not something to scoff at or anything. I'm just saying it's not like I'm going to say, oh, I live in such a perfect world, I don't want to be bothered by all them. I just didn't like it. I just didn't like that feeling. And the cost of living was okay, but there were shortages of stuff. We couldn't get hot dog buns at one location. I don't know. It just seemed weird. Some of the stuff was weird about it, but other than that, the foliage, the land, the views, they have it. They've got it. So if you don't mind the cold and some of those things that I just mentioned don't bother you at all, you may want to look at those states. Out of all the states we traveled, I really like those. The desert was awesome, but it was the desert. We started having a problem with we love not seeing rain, but we had a problem with, it just seemed like we were getting dried out. I don't know, it seemed weird that I didn't sweat most of the time, and the RV in the truck was just, the sun was just beating this black truck to death. I mean, we were putting up,
Might have to get a cover.
yeah, I would consider getting a full-blown vehicle cover if we were to be in that environment for sure, like Yuma, but even in Florida.
Yeah.
So-
Well, like those guys at Lake Okeechobee.
Lake Okeechobee,
They
right.
had a.
But there was, at least they had palm trees and stuff like that. That was nice. So all the places that we traveled, how does Spider get on a camera? Maybe he'll come over the lens. That'll be kind of cool. You guys will see him. He's up on top right now looking for a way around.
That's funny.
You know, it'd be funny if he activates the screen and he shuts off the live chat somehow. So we've always been, hey, is this a place we might want to stay? We had done that when we were in Vero Beach. I personally like that coast because I grew up there as a kid, and even Heidi, we like those beaches better. I Clearwater and all, St. Pete, all that area is beautiful, but it just reminds me too much of Lake Erie. I mean, it's warm, but it's just different over there. I didn't like the traffic. I love that there's so much to do over there. We may still consider it. However, we've always considered the East Coast and like the Brevard County area and north and south of that. So in January, when we're done in Orlando, the park that we were at last year, Southgate, we're going to be there for 4 months for sure. Doesn't mean we're not going to travel though. We made stipulations, or I shouldn't say stipulations, we just asked.
Right.
Said, hey, listen, we're going to be renting this site for whatever, 4 months, 5 months. He told us we could stay there for the rest of our lives, which is nice because we were on a waiting list, which we got moved up. That's how he got up there. Look at, now he's coming down to me. Now he got
Get him?
Yeah. So the thing is we still wanted to be able to travel. So we have the 1,000 Trails membership. And we said, do you have a problem if we, hook up our RV and leave for a couple weeks, and like go to the Florida Keys? And he said, no, I would want to go to the Florida Keys too. These guys are really nice. These people are extremely nice.
Yeah.
So we're going to take our first step into exploring if we want to get a permanent site or a seasonal site in one location. This is our first step. Um, I don't know what that means in the future, and I'm talking a couple years down the road. If we're going to flat out buy a house and sell everything, not travel anymore, I, we still got stuff we want to see. So
Yeah.
we know that if we rent this place, we don't necessarily want it to go away. So now we're kind of going to be in a struggle of how do we go explore Vermont, Maine, New York, Jersey, Rhode Island, if that's even a possibility, but down the coast, those upper mid east states, is the Atlantic coast states, um, Maine. I don't know. We don't know how we're going to necessarily do that because, quite honestly, to get into this park is pretty difficult. And
But I'm sure that he's not going to make us stay year round. So,
right, right. It's hard.
so as long as we commit to
Maybe
the
the next
following
season.
winter,
Yeah.
we'll
Which
be okay, and then we can make a decision there because we still do have places to go,
Yeah,
places to see.
and our membership that we just bought, I mean, allows us to do that pretty
Yeah.
easily. So, hanging out in Vero Beach, we're going to be there a long time, and again, we'll still go travel. We'll probably actually travel even more there because it's easy to drive. The traffic's not horrible there, as long as you don't go down to Miami. As long as you don't get into that, the traffic's not too bad. I mean, all the way up to, as long as you stay out of Daytona at certain times of year, we could go all the way up to St. Augustine. I mean, so all that whole coast, or we could head up. The other thing we're talking about doing is going to Disney. We might do that when we're in Orlando. We still haven't figured that out yet. Um, but we wanted to give you guys a heads up, and we were shooting video on this, and I told her, I said, there's so much stuff that we need to talk about. Let's see how our live chat works out here with these routers that, the unlimited internet that we have. We haven't really utilized it the way that we planned on doing it, and that was with more live chats. Now, when we're in Vero Beach, I guarantee we're going to do live chats because we had a 7-hour live chat the last time we were in Vero Beach. Um, it's a nice location. It's a 55 plus park. There's no pets. Kids can come and visit, but that's about it. Heavy, heavy, heavy French Canadian.
Yeah.
Very heavy French Canadian. I mean, if you go to their Facebook, a lot of their comments and posts are in French. So we kind of fit in there a little bit. Even though I'm German, the place that our relatives came from in the 1600s, the border between France and Germany was fluid depending on which king conquered who. So sometimes we were actually French and sometimes we were actually German. And our last name is actually a derivative of Lebeau. So it's a French name that's been messed around with and changed into a German thing, make it a little bit easier for German, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know if that'd make a difference or not. I don't speak any French. French is way too difficult for me to understand. That's a whole and I'm like, ugh. Maybe Spanish I could kind of pick up a little bit, but French that's a little bit harder. So we're gonna be down there, just checking out the location. The best part about it by far that we really like this location is the truck can sit. We don't have to go anywhere unless we want to go somewhere far. So again, talking about getting a cover for the truck. The bikes, I think it's less than 4 miles, but I'll say 4 miles to the beach. We made that drive a few times. Wawa, which is open 24 hours right there. I think they're open 24 hours, right? Were they open 24 hours? Did you even look or check?
What's that?
Was Wawa open
Yes.
24 hours?
Yes, because we went over like 11.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah, but I'm just saying that
So,
it was
anyways,
late.
we have the app. You can order stuff, which will help with our diets, right? Late night, hey, I want a snack, but we can walk to it or ride our bikes. Um, there's a Taco Bell there. There's a Popeyes there. Across the street is the Publix, which we can ride our bikes there, which we did. There's a dollar store. Is it a Family Dollar? I don't remember.
Uh, I think there's Family Dollar and a Dollar Tree.
Yeah, it's all right there, real close. Advance Auto Parts is right there. Um, uh, we can ride our bikes to Walmart Express. They don't have a full Walmart, but a Walmart Express. We can ride our bikes to Five Guys. I mean, it's all right there. It's real convenient. So that's something that we're kind of looking forward to because I like having that. There's a VA clinic in Vero Beach. However, the VA hospital, I think, is in Orlando, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a little bit of a trek. But still, this is kind of the things we were thinking about when we were looking for places we may want to move to. But Heidi had told me the very first time I told her, I said, hey, we should go to Florida and maybe look at places to stay. And she told me she was not short about it at all. She said, there is no way that we're just going to move to a city without staying there 5 to 6 months at least to try it out. And then maybe a year to try it out after that.
Because he needed to remember that when he lived in Florida, he was so young
Yeah.
and things have changed so much.
Yeah. Funny because
I don't want to move somewhere and then we regret it.
the houses that we used to live at growing up, my parents didn't have a lot of money and we moved around a lot. And some of the houses that we stayed at, that we bought, or that we were renting, or I think we were renting most of them. Those houses are selling for $250,000 now, and they are nothing special. And it just happens to be because the city or whatever. So we're going to experiment with that area. We're still going to hook up the RV though and go because we definitely want to do. We'd like to try to squeeze Disney in. Heidi's never been to Walt Disney World. I've been there a ton of times. Uh-oh, somebody calling me? Kirby, are you calling? Alice Cannon from Akron. Decline. Sorry, guys. Didn't mean for that to come through. I don't know who that was. I don't know how she got that phone number. Because only Herbie has that phone number, and I think Sully has that phone number.
Yeah.
But the plans are still going to be fluid. We do have one family health situation that might make a difference in some of that. I don't know what exactly. I don't know on what level, but it could if we have a family emergency. So that's pretty much it caught up to date. Now it's time for you guys to start throwing all the questions you want. Heidi's going to read them to me, and I can answer them best I can. Somebody had a question the other day about something. It was a pretty good one too. What was that? Do you remember what that question was that guy asked? And I said, we just referred to the video. Oh, it was Gail. Gail, I don't know if you're watching this or not. Yeah, I installed the airbags on the truck before we left, and I went with Firestone, Ride Right. And they were nice airbags. I loved the simplicity of the way the bag went on. I loved everything about it. The problem is the Ride Right, they didn't make for my specific truck, the Super Duty. They didn't make it for the 2019 or the 2020 at that time. And I made them work. And they did a good job, but they also didn't have any kind of an air fill or anything like that. So when we got to Wildwood, I took it to that four-wheel drive shop and I said, hey, is there any way that you could fabricate a bracket to make these work and add a pump on them so I can pump them up? I can pump up the truck using my phone or using the remote control and, lower or raise it as I drive down the road. And he said, listen, it's not worth even fabricating. He goes, I sell a lot of these airlift kits. I can install that on instead. Well, I got thinking about it and I called up the Summit Racing where I bought the original kit and I said, hey, this thing said that it fits my truck, and it didn't. I said, I tried to make it work, but it's not working. And they said, no problem, send it back. We'll give you back all your money. So at that point in time, I told the guy, I said, go ahead and install that new airlift system.
Okay, got a question.
Yeah.
Do you have the V2 jacks for your ProPride hitch, and do you plan on returning the V1 jacks?
I got to do that install probably tomorrow. We have the V2 jacks that were sent to us, but it'll be a paid promotion. I got to put paid promotion on these things when they send me free stuff now. Brent at ProPride, who we've dealt with exclusively for a long time, which we have a link in the description. We have an affiliates with them, which came in kind of late, which kind of sucks, but that initial install video's got like 50,000 views on it.
Almost 60.
And we didn't have an affiliates link at all. And anyways, we got one now. So we contacted them the other day and said, hey, when are those V2 hitch, things coming out? Because I definitely want to put those on instead of what we have. Because I know working and fixing stuff makes you somewhat of an engineer yourself, even though you're not really. And you can tell when stuff is levered too hard or expanded too far, or it's just maybe a little bit badly designed or not as good a design as it could be. And when I seen those V2 things, I'm like, oh yeah, I got to get some. So Heidi contacted Brent, and he said, I will definitely send you a pair as soon as we got them available in exchange for a video. So we'll be doing a video on them, and I'll be putting them on the front of the RV, and I'll be releasing it. So yes, I have them. They're in the back of the truck. They're in a box. They were just delivered. We had to go pick them up yesterday. So I'll be doing an install video tomorrow.
Next question is, when you go to the RV show, are you thinking about getting a new RV?
Yes.
No.
Absolutely. Every single time I go check out RVs, hey, listen, if there's a Rockwood representative there and they want to make some kind of a deal with us, I will pull this cap off this truck so fast and put a Rockwood fifth wheel. We have 2 Rockwood fifth wheels that we would take either one of them, but they would have to be optioned the right way. I definitely have to have double pane glass again. I definitely have to have 2 air conditioners on the rooftop. And I definitely want the 12 volt compressor refrigerator with the 170 amp solar panel on top. What else? That's the only options we really care about. Heidi wants the interior colors that she wants. Oh, they would have to have the theater seating in the one. But yeah, we have 2 fifth wheels that we would do immediately. Now, with that said, because our stays are getting a little bit longer now, I said before, there's no way we would ever go into another travel trailer. I don't hold hard and fast on that rule anymore. Do you? If there was another travel trailer that was a little bit longer.
Yeah. The layout has all to do with it.
Yeah, that layout would have to just, like this one, speak to us.
Yeah.
If you guys will go back and look.
Jack says you better start writing your letter to Santa now.
Yeah. Dear Santa.
Very true.
Dear Santa Claus, I've been a
with
good
a stone
boy.
or concrete foundation, like Sully said.
You're right. If you go back and look at our video that we were at West Branch, and we did a video that I think the thumbnail says this might be the one or something like that. This could be the one. And it was the first time we ever walked into this model of RV. Not this RV, but it was this model number that they don't even make anymore. And you could get my initial reaction. I'm like, all right, this could work. I mean, it was immediate. As soon as we got through the door, I felt really comfortable about everything that was being offered. Some of the things that's changed since we got this RV that Heidi would like differently. Heidi wants the toilet not to be necessarily in the same room as the shower or the sink or one or the other. So she would rather have the sink and the toilet together and the shower in a separate, like across the hall, or she would rather have the toilet by itself and the shower and sink in a room by itself, or she would like all of it off to one side so there's a hallway to the bathroom, which the 2608 offers. But the one thing, big thing that we definitely always wanted was the ability to walk through our RV when we're stopped, if we stop at Walmart for the night. That could change if we got into staying at RV parks even more than we already are now. So, yes. And the fact that our RV is bringing resale of more than what we paid for it initially, or close to what we paid for it, it's a thought. It's definitely a thought. We have the truck for a fifth wheel. We have the truck for a bigger travel trailer. That makes us always open. You know, our minds are open when we go looking. Don't necessarily want to get into payments, though.
Herbie says that he says, you sure I can't tempt you to go tiffin? That way you can pull the truck.
No,
Tow the truck.
Well, the truck would, Herbie, if we had where we didn't have to pull anything with the truck, I'd sell this truck so fast. We paid $53,000 for the truck, which it's all paid off, because the 2019 F-250 we had, which we paid $39,900 for, that was all paid off. So we paid it off. We own it outright. We own the RV outright. We don't have any bills to speak of, really. Although, seems like that some of the bills are starting to show up again. How did that happen? I just realized we have a credit card payment now. That'll be brief, though.
Yeah, it's just short.
Yeah. So anyways, the truck is selling for like $64,000 used. Because the shortage of trucks and chips and all that stuff, these shortages are just driving the money crazy. Mm-hmm. So our RV selling for what we bought it for, or even more, and the truck is selling for more than what we paid for it. So if we got into a motorhome, it would have to be a pretty decent motorhome, obviously, and it would the truck would be gone. We'd sell the truck immediately.
Howard Moses says, how about a Super C? And I said,
nah.
I said no, because Michael will drive me crazy, quieting all the noise down.
Yeah, there's something about, I mean, the Super Cs, which is,
they're really nice.
It's
They're
a cutaway.
Nice.
It's a cutaway.
Right.
I mean, that's where the C comes from, cut away. So you have a chassis, the back's been cut, the cab's been cut, and then you've got, all the stuff in the back. For whatever reason, it seems like those are noisier than even a Class A, even Class A's. If you get a good Class A, it's pretty quiet inside.
Michael would be telling me.
Don't get me wrong, though. We wouldn't ever rule anything out.
Michael always tell me, quiet that noise down.
Oh, there's
it wouldn't matter if it was in the extended cab part of the truck. He want me to get back there and quiet whatever the noise is.
There's little noises I can't stand. My tools in my truck, every once in a while, a couple sockets will get real close together, and they just sit there and ring like a little bell. Even though I have it in my toolbox, closed, with a packing blanket over top of it to dampen everything, I can still hear it ting, 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 ting. Yeah, it drives me nuts. I don't know. It's a thought. It'd be a complete different. And honestly, we have found that we have been wanting a small vehicle when we get to these locations, that we're there for a long period of time. You got to remember that, our investment in the house and the vehicle that pulls the house, these things there can't be no problems with them. I can't have a truck that there's an issue you know, or an RV for that matter that has an issue, because if there is, now we're stuck wherever we're at, you know, unless we go rent a truck to pull the RV to the next place. And the reason I say that is every time we take this truck out, it's a handful, you know, to get into some of these places. And not only that, but you're in all new traffic patterns, dealing with the craziest drivers that are crazier than me, that could at any point in time just run a stop sign and T-bone your vehicle and total it. And although we have insurance to cover all that stuff, the inconvenience. I mean, think about it. If we were at a place like let's say Ocean Lakes, for example, if we're in Ocean Lakes for those 4 days, and on the fourth day I leave out of there and somebody runs a stop sign and T-bones our truck and totals it, my RV stuck in a place that's expensive per day. I need to get it somewhere else. I've got to rent. Hopefully, we're not injured. So, I would rather have the truck be taken care of as much as possible and as safe as possible, so that when it's time for the truck to do what it's meant to do,
It can do it.
it can do
no
it.
problem.
And there, you know, we're now on to the next location. The tires are fine, the brakes are fine, the oil's fine, the engine's fine, the truck is in perfect shape. It's all clean, it's ready to go. It's been sitting here ready to do its job. So we've been contemplating some of these places that we go, like Vero Beach, maybe buying a small car just to pal around in, even though, like I said, we can get around on our bikes a lot. It would be nice to have a smaller car to get into some of these, like if we decide to go to Disney, you know, to be able to just drive over to Disney and park our car in a normal parking spot and not worry about the hitch hanging out and people breaking in and taking stuff out of the truck, because we've got a lot of stuff in there still.
Yeah.
There's some thoughts that have come up that I never would have thought of until we hit the road and traveled. So, more questions. I love these questions. These are good, guys.
Herbie says, get a Class a Tiffin, and buy a small SUV to go exploring in.
Cadillac.
He says, yeah. He says, sounds familiar?
Yeah. Oh, here comes some motorcycles.
Looks like you need to go back to the pop-up camper.
Oh,
Troy
yeah.
Post said. That's funny.
Yeah.
The motorcycle gang.
When we lived, like I said, this road here, if you take it all the way up into Homeworth, you make a left at the stop sign, go 3/4 mile, make a right at the next intersection, and you're on Westville Lake Road, and that's the road that traveled past our house, where when I was doing all those videos at the house, you could see the parts store and the Subway gas station and that. So that, I mean, this is the extension of that road basically, although it's called something else. And those motorcycles used to ride by all the time on the weekends. Here comes some more. They have poker runs out through this way all the time. But I enjoy the truck. I love the truck. I'm going to tell you guys what you guys already know. This truck is a no-brainer if you're even thinking about it. I cannot stress that enough. It is so awesome to feel the horsepower of this truck and the torque that this thing has at like 3,500 RPMs, you know, pulling a hill. And it's just constant, the shifts, you know, just rev it up, next shift, rev it up, next shift, rev it up. It's just there. It's never heats up, never overheats, never does anything weird or goofy. It does everything I expected it to do. Now, I think that 6.2 would have done just fine also. We had good luck with it, but this thing is just a step above. It really is. So if you guys are on the fence and you're still thinking about it, unless you're doing a lot of mountain driving, just go to it. And yes, it's going to shift. It's going to downshift, and you're going to, the engine's going to go to 5,000 RPMs if you're really running it hard before it shifts, that kind of thing. The engine's made for it. It is flawless. It really is.
Why do you need to change your other axle on the trailer? They're just asking because probably they missed it at the beginning.
Yeah, the axle on the front of the RV had a The tires are up and down on your RV. If you're standing behind the trailer and you're looking at it, your tires are up and down this way. Well, the front axle, after we went through Louisiana, the front axle, the tires kind of, they were out further at the bottom and closer up top. Not as drastic as I'm showing you here, but it was noticeable. And not only that, but the tires started wearing more on the inside, you know, because that's where they were contacting at, than on the outside. So we had called Dexter, and they wanted to send us some pictures of what we had going on. We did, and they sent us a new axle. Well, when we put the new axle on, I kind of noticed that same problem now showing up on the back axle just a little bit. Well, after we traveled another, I don't know, 1,200 miles or so, it started becoming more noticeable. And we contacted them, and now we've traveled another 2,000 miles plus, and it's kind of the way the front one was. So we contacted them, and they're going to send another axle. Well, it has something to do with either the stub that comes off of the, what do you want to call that, Hyde? What's that called? The control arm. I guess it's like a control arm. It's really the pivot for the axle. So it's either the stub where it comes out of the pivot is bent up a little bit, or it's the elastic itself is breaking down to where the square tube that's inside the other big square tube has caused it to lose support, or maybe it's even bent. I don't really care. All I know is that the axles are working, and if somebody put them on a trailer that was less weight than ours, I'm sure it would do just fine. I would love to, whenever I had my landscaping, when I had my small engine business, I would have loved to have these two axles on a trailer, because there's no leaf springs or anything. So there's lots of clearance that you could do. You could put the trailer real low and have plenty of travel and, you know, all that stuff. Well, anyways, so that's why we're replacing it, because the inside of my tires are starting to wear a little bit, and the rear axle, the tires, when you're looking at it, they're not straight up and down. They're slightly out at the bottom. That's pretty much it. And like I said, because the ride's so smooth and everything, and because Dexter is so good with the warranty and getting us new axles, I don't like that I have to change it, but I'm not saying anything bad about it, because I like the product still. That may change. If I start having problems again after another 2,000 miles or 3,000 miles, I might have different thoughts on it.
Well, Troy Post, he said, just lost the hub on the pop-up on the way to the beach Thursday. Camping canceled, now in a hotel.
Oh, no
That
kidding.
stinks.
You should
Well, hopefully you can still enjoy yourself.
Yeah, you should have taken and done like they did on World Fastest Indian. You just got to take a big stick, take a big log in your ratchet strap to that side, and just use it to drag. Drag on the stick, and probably catch fire at some point, I would think. I mean, that's how fires start, right? Friction.
Yeah. Lost tire and damage to the side of the camper.
Well, the good news is you should check. If you have the right dimensions and everything, hell, Tractor Supply sells complete axles that probably, if it's a single axle especially, you could probably get away with something that they have just sitting on their shelves. If it's the right dimension, I don't think it's that expensive, is it? Maybe $500?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably about $500. Which on a pop-up, I mean, obviously some of our pop-ups, hell, we paid $100 for one of our pop-ups, right? Or $200 for one of them.
Yeah.
So to have a $500 axle, that would kind of suck. Yeah, it's.
He said he'll look into it. The person that asked about the axle said they was curious. He's gone cross country in their 2509S and haven't had any problems. It could have just been easily the roads that we traveled in Louisiana.
It could
That's
be,
when it started.
Listen, it could be that we're traveling at 70 miles an hour, 75 miles an hour too. I don't know if you got to figure that when you have suspension, I'm not trying to give you guys a class. If you already know this, just ignore it. But The reason they put, or the reason that they like to put oil in shocks is it does a good job dampening, but it also does a good job cooling, because anytime you dampen energy, anytime you reduce energy, there's going to be heat. Anytime there's energy being generated, there's heat, and when you reduce the energy also, there's going to be heat. So those shocks, whenever they're going in and out all the time, that oil in there helps them stay cool. Well, on a leaf spring, you have those leaf springs that are exposed out on the road, traveling down the road, and just the air and all that metal content, the heat that it's being dampened, it's happening in the leaf, or all those the leaf pack, I should say, all those leaf springs, those individual leaves. So that heat's being transferred over a large area, and at no point should you ever be able to go down the road and drive for 3 hours and then pull over and put your hand on your leaf spring and it be hot. It might feel warm, but it's not going to necessarily feel hot. The problem with these is all that dampening happens, all that energy that's being absorbed is in these rubber cords that are enclosed inside of axle tubes. So the rubber cord is being, I don't know if you guys know what that looks like. There's a video demonstration on YouTube, and I think I stole it and put a copy, showed it on my video. But basically the axle tubes are square. They're just a square. And then what they do is inside that square, which this isn't a good example either.
Just pretend that's a square.
Yeah, pretend that's a square. Inside that square is another square that they put a diamond. They make it a diamond shape. So let's just say this is the square. So there'll be a diamond inside. Now that diamond, that comes out and is connected to the tire and wheel. You got something that looking at it, the axle this way. You got it coming out, then down, then the stub, and then your tire's mounted to it. So what keeps that tire when it moves up and down is that diamond in the corners of the square. They have rubber cords. I'm talking big pieces of rubber that are like that long that go into the axle, that when that thing tries to twist, that diamond can't turn but only so far, and it's rigid based on those rubber pieces. Well, if those rubber pieces wear out way inside on the axle, it could be that axle, that diamond, will actually start hitting or bending. And if I'm running the vehicle really hard, the heat that I might be generating into the suspension might be a little bit too much for that rubber and might be breaking it down. That's the only thing I could think of that I'm possibly doing that could be causing it, because we are not even close to being even remotely close to overloaded. We have our load spread out throughout the RV. Everything is fine as far as our axle weights. It just could be the speed in which the RV is being bounced down the road. I doubt that though.
Troy said he may need to upgrade to a larger camper. Good excuse to upgrade.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Like we need excuses.
Right. Someone said, would you ever consider an Airstream even though they don't have any slides?
The main problem we have is the bathroom issue. No,
they're nice.
They are nice, but the appearance, trying to keep that from.
That's so much work.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Just
all
keeping
the travel that
washed.
we did.
I know they're clear coated, and you have to. The expense, probably not. And I'll tell you the number one reason. Well, two reasons. Well, three reasons. For the size, they are heavy. Of course, it's because of their build quality.
Yeah.
For their size, they're heavy. That's number one. Number two, the cost. They're very expensive for the size that you get. And number three is storage. They don't have any storage in them. We could not take everything we have in our RV, and you could give me the biggest Airstream that they have. I couldn't put everything we have in this 30-foot RV, which is a 26-foot box. I couldn't put it in an Airstream. I just couldn't. There's not enough storage. And this isn't real big on storage in here. I mean, we've got a good wardrobe, a good pantry, and we have a lot of other cabinets, but like our kitchen storage isn't that great. Our pass-through storage is awesome. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. Just the pass-through storage alone, all of that would have to go in the back of the truck, and that's not cool. So yeah, it's the money. I just couldn't. I couldn't see the money. If money wasn't an object,
Michael Sullivan said that's not our style.
Yeah,
He said you'd have to dress up when you travel on those.
oh, dude. Yeah, there would be no more Yukon Jack. It would all be wine and cheese. Yeah, I'd say that. Airstreams are fine. They're just not. They're not our thing. Again, getting back to our choice that we did make with Rockwood, Heidi and I have plenty of conversations we don't record on video. And I remember telling her at one point, I said, I really am impressed with the build quality of the RV. And I mean, we've been living in it and beating it up and using it, and we have had minimal problems. And other than we have one screw that continuously falls out on a cover that's underneath the oven, other than that one screw falling out, we've been really happy with the build quality. Now, of course, the skylight, they had a recall on that. It cracked. There was some water that tried to get in that way. The back window was not put together right at the factory, or because of the extra weight of the extra glass that's back there, it shifted and moved. We got that resealed now. Of course, the components inside, we had a problem with the microwave. That could happen with any of them. That's not Rockwood's fault. We had a problem with the furnace. That could happen with anybody, because those furnaces are used on everything up to $125,000 coaches. It's same furnace potentially. That could have been anybody. Other than that, the grab handles to get in and out, the awning material I don't really care for. We bought new awning material, but for whatever reason this thing likes to wrinkle up when you roll it in. I think I need to stretch it and put screws in to hold it in place. That's
when you stretched the last one, though, that's why we got this one.
Right.
It tore and.
Right. It even looks like it's tearing a little bit there again. See that?
Gosh, yeah.
But
good thing we'll be putting the next one on ourselves.
We'll get that high dollar one that they make. I didn't want a white one.
Yeah.
I still don't want a white one.
They put the white in the wrong spot here.
Yeah, they should have put it up higher.
Yeah.
But anyways, the build quality of the Rockwood, it's awesome. It really is. We're very happy with it. That's kind of why when we look at other RVs, we keep on getting back to the Rockwood, because I already know that it has 5/8 inch tongue and groove marine grade plywood glued and screwed on the entire decking of the floor. I mean, I already know that. All their RVs do. I already know how the laminate is made for all the walls, inside and out, and all the aluminum's double welded. This whole aluminum structure that's a 6-sided cage. I mean, all that stuff is stuff that we were looking for, and you can find in some RVs and not in others. Now, I will have to say, though, if you don't know for sure if you want to stay in an RV full-time in that, you don't go crazy. Just get a cheap one. The good news about the cheap one is you're going to have problems with it in that, but if you're not using it a lot, you might not have a lot of problems. I see plenty of people, we have seen plenty of people while we're out that, sorry if the phone's moving, the wind's picking up quite a bit here, that have got a lower quality name RV, ones that are on the cheap end of things. And there's nothing wrong with those, but they're lesser floors, they're stick build with batten, insulation. There's nothing wrong with that. There's just nothing wrong with that. Especially if they're enjoying themselves and it's working for them.
Right.
And, it depends on how much you're using. I'm just saying that our experience, I have a pretty good peace of mind. That's probably why I drive the way that I do. That what I'm towing behind me, parts aren't falling off as I drive down the road. Although some parts fell off the truck when we drove down the road. That one airbag bracket came loose.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's working. Everything seems to be working really well with this, and we're happy with it. I kind of makes me want to look at Rockwood again. I wish they had more. I wish they had more options because they have a tendency to do like 6 travel trailer plans and that's it. And they'll do a couple of them numerous years, year after year. So I don't know. Maybe we'll look at the new ones and see what they have to, offer.
Solly says the stuff wears out quicker when full timing. For
Yeah.
sure. And we're just at the beginning of it.
Yeah, Heidi's been fine as far as cleaning. Also, like our countertops in the kitchen, there's a couple of areas that we need to do that polish because the countertop, even though it's a resin,
Yeah.
a resin plastic of some kind, it's starting to scratch. You can see multiple scratches on it, but it's not deep scratches, just light scratches.
Herbie wants to know how our Acuva water system is working out.
So far so good. Heidi uses it for all her cooking water
I need to start using it for like my coffee.
to get used to it.
Yeah. I'm
She's a water snob.
I am.
She's
I'm
worse
worse
than me.
than him, and
Yep.
I don't know.
I like nice clean water, we drink a lot. That's the thing. We drink
Yeah.
lots of water.
It would help things.
Yeah. I like I love the way it works and everything. Oh, it's perfect.
It's a really nice setup.
Yeah, it's real smooth and
Yeah.
everything's fine with it.
It's good quality.
Yeah, you could tell it's good quality.
It says, do you have a plan or a time frame when you're looking to get another sticks and bricks, or we're just winging it? And I commented that we're kind of winging it. If we did find something, we're not.
Listen,
like-
full disclosure, we've looked.
Yeah.
We've looked.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother thing. We've got to definitely narrow down a location, and the only reason we looked is we wanted to get an idea on house prices. And if we moved into a house, Heidi's pretty stir crazy. After the house is all fixed up the way she would want to go back to work. It's not. She'd want to go back under her own terms, what she can do. I don't know. I don't want to say that because people are probably saying, "Oh, you're saying that," and she don't seem like she wants to go back to work.
Right now, I don't.
Yeah, right now she don't. But
it's too. I mean, I don't know if we get down to Florida for the 4 months. It's hard to find a job on your own terms.
Yeah.
Unless I was doing something for myself, like cleaning or something. I don't see myself doing that, but I don't know. I'm thinking about it, and we'll see. Christian Michael said he loves how we share our channel, driving maintenance. In other words, we show everything that's not glamorous stuff and highlight popular spots. We try.
Yeah.
We try.
I'm glad that we have a large following that seems to be on board with what you just said, because I can't do the other. I can. You want to see what the channel's like? Hey YouTube, welcome back to RV Daydream. I'm Mike, this is Heidi, and let us tell you about our full-time adventures. I mean, really? Do we need another one of those channels? You send a question, what do you do for a living? And they just ignore it. or whatever. Money's always an issue out here on some level. No matter how much you have, you could always use more to do something else. Sometimes it's hectic. Sometimes there's days that I'm like, I can't believe I got to shoot another video or do another video, or I don't want to do another review, but it is something for the RV community. It's something that we should talk about, I guess. And there's just days that I'm like, man, I should just stop all this crap and just start working somewhere, doing something else entirely different. And I've talked about the one thing that I would consider doing, and if we ever got to sticks and bricks again, it's something we've got to consider. If we move into a park of some kind, or a mobile home park, or a housing development or something like that, it can't have an HOA. I mean, can you imagine a real nice place and it's got an HOA, and I'm changing the oil in my truck out in the driveway, and then
Or we buy a vehicle that's not running right. And
yeah,
keep taking it up and down the road.
yeah. So we would have to find a place that's a little bit out. We'd have to find a place that's close to water. We'd rather, do a river or the ocean, one or the other. So that's gets expensive, and it gets hard to find property that way. We'd have to find something that's got good weather. And the one thing that I would like to be able to do is on the RV channel, of course, we'd still go RVing. We'd still go RV shopping. But I'd like to maybe where we would buy a small RV and remodel it, redo it. That's fun. We enjoy doing that. And we can earn money doing that pretty easily. The other thing I would love to do is on my other channel that has been neglected highly. If you guys don't know, a lot of people say, I didn't even know you had another channel. You have another channel, it's Fox Boss 9. That was my first channel. And I haven't done anything on that channel since the day we left this park after dumping our tanks and leaving to head out to be on our full time on the road. That's the last time I posted a video on that channel, and it was of the truck towing. And I love to do this, let's see if we can get it running stuff. Going and finding old trucks, old cars, old lawnmowers, old dirt bikes, old go-karts, whatever, and bringing them back to my house, or working on them at the wrecking yard and trying to get them to run and see what it takes to get them to run. Being able to drive it again after it's been sitting for 20 years. I love that. I watch a little bit on YouTube, but I don't watch a lot because I like to do that kind of stuff, and I don't necessarily agree with the way other people are doing it. Some people try to fire it up on the old gas that's in the tank, which is fine. Some people don't. They put in a little portable gas tank, which is fine. I think a combination of both is probably the best, where you try to run it on one and then work on the other if it runs okay. But go ahead.
What do you think about work camping?
If we found a place, okay. What about work camping at Vero Beach? We like that park, so that's why we're using it.
Possibly.
So we've always said if we found a place.
I didn't really want to work where we lived.
Right.
Minus the oil. What do they call it?
Guard shacks.
Yeah.
Guard stations, whatever. Guarding. Gate guarding.
Because you're kind of your own boss.
We've always said that the only way we'd want to work camp in a park is it would have to be a park we really want to be at, and that we like the people, and as long as our life didn't revolve around getting up in the morning and doing all this work that lasts all Monday through Friday every day. There's some exceptions to that. Don't get me wrong, we're not lazy people. We just would like to feel appreciated when we're working, putting in an effort, and we would have to see that and feel that. This park that we're going to at Vero Beach, slip shift. The park we're going to at Vero Beach, that is one that, I could consider that. I mean, I would rather it be more campground like though. I'd rather be in with more campers because there's a lot of permanent people there.
Was it Lake Eufaula campground we were at?
Yes, Lake Eufaula.
Yeah, somebody's asking. I'm going to type it in
here. Lake Eufaula. Yeah, we're camping other places. Heidi don't want to do Amazon. We talked about it.
I would do the sugar beet harvest maybe.
Yeah, but the problem is
minus the snow.
See, that's the problem. I don't mind the heat. I don't mind the
Yeah.
rain. But the snow and the
Yeah.
cold and working in that, I'm done with that crap. I don't want to deal with that. So, and gate guarding. Uh, the only thing that holds us away from trying out that gate guard deal is getting in a
Ruining our.
location yeah, ruining the RV with dust and dirt. When we were in Arizona for a month and we did Texas on the way over, wow, just a month's worth of that dust, man, it's everywhere. We I still have to get on the roof and pull the covers off of the air conditioners, and then pull the metal covers off of the condensers or whatever. I think that's the condenser. Well, anyways, pull the exchanger, the exchanger more than any. I guess that's what it's called. And I have to clean that out because I don't know how bad it is up in there. Our air's working really well, so I don't think there's a problem. But I would need to get up there with an air gun and blow it out. The dust was really heavy. It was so heavy, and you was breathing at night. You would sit, and you would just see through streams of light, like from street lights and stuff. You could just see the dust that you had been breathing in all day long. So if we go gate guarding, I know that a lot of that's in Texas. It's out in the middle of nowhere, and a lot of times it's a dusty dirt road that leads up to where you're going to be sitting at. But they pay really well. So we thought about it. We thought about doing that just to bank some money, just to have extra money to maybe go buy Heidi that fifth wheel she keeps on talking about. No, we'll touch real quick. When we go to the RV show, we're looking. Not hard.
I'm not looking, but he is.
She'll look because I'll go, look.
Yeah, that's the only reason I'm looking.
Look at this one.
I will. I hope I don't. I'm always kind of disappointed because they don't change much. And
Yeah.
there's like, I don't know.
Well,
I just expect change.
She will, and
Cars change.
to prove that point. She went to when we went to Hershey Show last year, there was an RV that the layout was pretty standard, and it was on a small RV, but it was our favorite because it was the most different.
Yeah.
And it was the one that was completely redesigned.
By somebody else,
Yeah,
though. It wasn't the company.
Yeah, it was like some designers redid the interior. Now the interior, for the most part, the basic structure and layout was the same as all the rest. But go back and check out that one. I think on that title and our thumbnail, it said it's in our RV shopping playlist. I think it said our choice for best in show, or best in show.
Pretty cool.
And just watch the video is long, but eventually you'll get to see it. It was a little one that just had great interior.
Yep.
Really great interior. Which we could change the interior of this. We could remodel quite a bit in here. I could put in a desk and all kinds of stuff. We could put in more storage cabinets in the back. But what?
Herbie says the boss is here. He has to go finish packing. He said they leave in the morning. Yes, you guys better you better get busy. Mary's gonna crack the whip.
See you, Herbie. Hi, Mary. Our son's out near where Herbie is. He's been out there for a few days. He's been in New Jersey for about a month now.
Yeah.
And I guess he's going to be out there for a little bit longer. He'll be heading back. Our son, he might be ending his van life. He's living in his van to where he gets to where he sells his van. We don't know for sure yet. He's talked about it. I got some footage of his van where if he does decide he wants to sell it, I'll do a complete video on that. He hit a deer with it. It's got a wrinkle in the fender. Nothing that affected it. Everything works still. but you can obviously see the dent. But yeah, he's still enjoying himself. Our daughter, she's working a bunch of hours, and so's our son-in-law. They're
Kind of getting back to normal.
yeah, slowly getting back to normal. He's been working from home for well over a year.
Yeah. Or a year and a half.
Yeah, so they're doing pretty well. They're working their butts off to pay off their house real fast. They did a 15-year loan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they're thinking about maybe getting another house.
Yep.
But yeah, so I think we're caught up. Definitely want to go down the coast a little bit slower than what we did out west. We're going to get stir crazy on some level, but we have learned
Well,
it's changed.
Yeah, we need to slow down a little bit.
But it has changed. I mean, in the amount of time that we've been, where was the last place that we stayed a period of time?
It's been a while.
I guess Yuma.
Yeah.
Yuma.
Yeah.
So
Actually,
Heidi got content. She was
I
content.
really like because you could go outside every day and it was sunny. I absolutely love that.
Listen, this is one of those things
It was hot,
also
but
that we have. It's tempting, but I don't think we will. I just told you all of our plans and everything that we have laid out. Encore Parks sent out to us and their other members a new sale that they have going on. Let's put it that way. Every Encore Park in Yuma, Arizona, which there's 4 of them,
yeah,
4 or 5,
yeah.
including the one we stayed at. So every one of those, they have a plan that we can call up right now, and we can reserve all of September, all of October, all of November, and all of December at one park
For cheap.
$899
That's cheap.
for 4 months in Yuma, going through the fall into the beginning of winter. We had a brief discussion about it. I sent it to her in the mail, and all I said was, uh-oh, because she likes Yuma. And we could easily ditch the RV show in Hershey and drive straight to Yuma and stay there for those 4 months and then drive to Florida. It's cheap. I mean, think about what we just said. What is that over 4 months? What's that come out daily? So that's, you got 30 days a month, so 120 days divided by 9, so 900. Okay, Google, what is 900 divided by, oh, it'd be helpful if I unlock my phone. Okay, Google, what is 900 divided by 120? Oh, that's wrong. That is wrong. Okay, Google, what is 900 divided by 160? Wait a minute, that can't be right. Why is my math not working today? It's 120, sorry. I was right the first time. So it's $7 a day. You can stay at that park for $7 a day. And that's not including electric though.
Right.
That's not including electric because it's over 30 days. And there's our electric bill out there, I would assume that runs probably about maybe 90 or 100 a month.
So there's a person on here. His name is Kenneth McCurtree. Says Michael and I have things in common. We're both vets. We're both colorblind, and we both go to the VA.
Oh. Yeah, colorblind's a thing.
So
Listen, colorblind, you guys don't know, I mean, as I get older and now that everybody's kind of got a Me Too type thing going on, I'm going to tell you that colorblind is definitely a deficiency that a lot of us suffer, and we don't even realize that we're suffering because nobody recognizes it as a problem. And man, if the government ever got on board and said, we're going to make all these changes because there's so many people that are colorblind, you would have, your weather maps would look totally different. Your street lights would look totally different. Stop signs would look totally different. I mean, there'd be so many things that would have to be different because of color blindness. I mean, it just, but you know what? I just lived with it so long. You just deal with it. But at some point, I bet you they become aware. It's kind of like autism, you know?
Yeah.
Autism been around forever. Nobody knew about it, and then all of a sudden, everybody knew about. Oh, he's autistic, and everybody knows what that means. Yeah, it's pretty rough. Some of the
So I
stuff
always
I
said that
experienced.
streetlights would just be text.
Yeah, it could be. Could be different shapes. It would have to be a different shape. X.
Somebody said that I have a Rockwood 2608 BS, and could Mike tell me if he jacks up the frame between the tires to grease the bearings
Yes.
using the Easy Lube fittings?
Yes. Yeah, you can just put a block of wood with a jack, and yes, you can do that. We've done that. Matter of fact, I did that to change the axles.
Yeah.
I jacked up in between it.
Oh,
It's
that's right.
it's solid. Just use a block of wood. That way you're not putting all that pressure. Like we use a bottle jack, and it's such a small point. And I know you know what it looks like underneath there. It just looks like a squared piece of tube metal that might crumble or something. I thought the same thing. So I use a 2x4. It's about so long, and I put it on edge, and then just jack up that way. I jack up. I'm jacked up. Yeah, it works. It's fine. Yeah, just do one side at a time. That way you don't have all the weight of the vehicle on just those two small points. But yeah, you can do it. Yeah, it's funny because we're talking about it. It's right behind us. Yeah, the 2608, the reason we didn't get that was at the time they didn't have any USBs in the bed slide that we could plug in our phones at night and have them right next to us. There was no, the little shelf, you actually have to sit up and get to it. That's the way it was, at least on the model we looked at. And you can't, with the slide in, you can't walk from the front to the back. You got to go out the door and all that. I was thinking of a way to try to make the bathroom door open so you could sneak through or something, but it's just tight. Other than that, we liked the 2608. Heidi loved it because of the kitchen.
That's where it ended for me.
We lost some of the seating though. I mean, even with
I don't like the TV at that angle. I mean, even that
fifth wheel.
the fifth wheel, I don't like that either.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Even
like
though
it
it
at
gives
all.
you the space for that bathroom in the back?
Yeah, I just don't like it. But then again, it's one of those things.
Yeah, like like we said earlier, and like she just mentioned, not that long ago, if there was a unique plan that really we go, wow, this is really cool. And I think that's why we like one of the fifth wheels for sure. That one fifth wheel has that mid bunk, and it has this bunk, and it's a short fifth wheel, but it has a little office area, bedroom in the middle, and it has all that for us, what would be storage up above. But the problem that I don't like about it, it has a U-shaped dinette that's not very big. I'd have to build a different table or
Yeah.
modify and put a different table in there to go over part of that dinette. And the seating for the watching the TV, I would have to have my recliner. It's not even a recliner. It's a couch. I would have to have the footrest down for Heidi to get into the pantry, and Heidi couldn't work on part of the counter because it's right in front of the TV, and she'd be walking in front of the TV. If I'd want to sit back and
I
watch
already
TV.
do that now.
So I'd have to go into the office room and use the TV in there, or the bedroom. We'd go in the bedroom and watch TV in there then. But that's kind of why I like the other one,
Yeah.
because it has a bedroom in the back with an extra bathroom that has a TV that could go back there. And
Could use that as a TV room.
yeah, or the TV that's in the living area. The dinette's a little bigger. Number one, it's a regular size dinette. But the seating, if I have my feet up, Heidi, I don't know what, if she needs to go back to that room, she could, I guess. I'd have to put my feet down, but she probably wouldn't need to because she'd have The kitchen with the
Yeah.
pantry and all the storage and the bathroom and the bedroom and everything all forward of where I'm sitting at watching TV.
So all
So
he says doesn't matter. Fifth wheel's coming for 2022. I
yeah.
told him to stop it. Um, Kenneth wants to know. He says, "Ask Mike, what do you think about independent axles?"
Yeah, I'm fine with them. We've had a recall thing on ours, or not a recall. We've had some warranty issues with ours, but I like them a lot better when we travel. The only real comparison I have is with our old RV, and our old RV did a good job, but everything seemed a little bit more solid back there. It just seemed a little bit more like the RV could possibly be jumping back there behind us, where this one just seems to be, I don't know. The RV has a tendency to be doing this a lot more when we're driving. So
Yeah.
it's undulating with the road because all the axles are working all by themselves.
Oh, Scott wants to know. He says, "Have you considered a Grand Design?" I'm sorry, I
Yes,
missed. We had a Flagstaff previously, and feel that Grand Design we have is much better built.
the Grand Design, um, we like the build quality, except for, if I'm not mistaken, it's not a six-sided aluminum cage. Was that what the deal was? The roof is wood structure, not aluminum.
Well, we
And there was
actually
something else. What was
um,
the other thing? We
there
looked at a
was
Grand Design, a 2500 RL.
we looked at a lot of them at in Tampa when we were at
Yep, Lazy Days.
Lazy Days, and there was actually a lot of Grand Designs that had a bunch of trim pieces and stuff falling off of it.
Yeah, that's
Now, I
right.
mean, we've traveled in this and we haven't had that,
Nope.
so that kind of turned me off. But I don't know.
But yeah, the
That's
structure
where he
wise,
comes in at.
if I'm not mistaken, the Grand Design, they still use wood trusses. And I think they still use batten insulation too somewhere. We haven't looked at it heavily. This is going back prior to us buying this one by a year was the last time I looked at Grand Design real heavily. Other than that, we liked it.
There's a lot of Grand Designs out there on the road when we travel.
Yes,
See tons of them.
yeah, yeah, we liked it. Oh yeah, we would consider it. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. There was something else though. I can't remember. Can't put my finger on it. What it was that I was just slightly
So
different.
Troy says, so what Mike is saying, as long as Heidi can cook, clean, and he can lounge, he's just fine.
Yes, that's what happens.
Yeah, because he don't cook or clean.
No, no, I
Somebody asked,
I
what
can
do you
cook.
think
I can
of?
cook hot dogs.
Yeah, barf. What do you what do you think of Jayco trailers?
Um, I was okay with Jayco for the most part, except when the Shrags. When we went to the Shrags, that one door was really jacked
Yeah,
up. The Jayco, we always wanted a double. I don't know if that's changed or not.
because we have one.
We
So.
we've always had a double door travel trailer. We still like having a double door travel trailer.
I want to be able to get out if there's a fire.
Well, we can go out a window or something, I'm sure.
Okay.
Break our necks, but
Right.
we won't be burned. We'll be paralyzed, but we won't be burned. But Rockwoods, they put on the double. These are both full-size doors. These are full-size doors. Jayco puts one small door and one big door, and at least they did on Shrags, and on Shrags that one door was crooked.
Yeah.
It was like
They had to take it in.
they had to take it in. It was really crooked. It was the opening was like cut crooked or something. I don't remember what the deal was there, but they're okay. We looked at them, but we never pulled the trigger on them for one reason or the other. I don't know exactly why. I think at the time some of them were pretty expensive when we got into the higher models. I
Yeah,
know
but and the layout also.
yes, yeah, the layouts. That
The
was a
layout,
lot of that
we
to do
kind
with
of
it.
like this one.
I don't think I still would do over a 32-foot travel trailer. I think 32 was
I think we're good at what we have.
Gotta think about it. Well, we're
Um,
already kind of 55.
the
But
witch, the hitch, which you're currently towing with, does it have a shock absorber built into it?
no, no, that I don't like that at all because it's a weight distribution setup. So your weight distribution is dependent on your your spring bars or torsion bars being cranked up and applying pressure back into the hitch to be transferred into the truck to make the front of that truck, instead of being like this, pushing it back down on the front. If you got a spring in here, I mean, that all now makes that, it's supposed to be that your truck and trailer, whenever it's set up correctly, it goes down the road as pretty much one unit. So you don't have this going on. So you don't have the front doing this and the truck doing this and the trailer doing this. It's all going down the road together as one unit as much as possible. To add a spring in that mix, sure, that helps with the shock of the trailer's tongue on the back of your truck, but you don't want any movement there. You want it locked in at that point. You want that stuff to be pretty solid there. The only way that those shock mounted ones I see work is if you have a dually truck and it's a long truck and you're not pulling a very long or heavy trailer behind you, that the dually can handle, to where you don't put weight distribution on at all and no sway control on at all. At that point, then it's not a big deal. But the thing is that if you have a fifth wheel, the shock is definitely something that you want to consider. An airbag or some sort of a spring shock.
I gotta
But
do something. I gotta take the chicken wings out.
chicken wings. But as far as the shock thing, I see that somebody's making it. I can't remember who it is now. It's a well-known name, and I just, it eludes me right now. But I don't see it being desirable. No, my hitch it's a ProPride hitch. I did an installation video on it. It's a 3-point hitch. It no longer turns on the ball. It moves around on the ball, but all my turns are done with 2 turning arms. It allows an 87-degree turn, so I can get really sharp with it before it's into a jackknife state. It eliminates sway. There is no sway, and it's very quiet. There's no noise that comes from it, and it's, oh, okay, yeah, turn them both on. And the hookup to hook it up is extremely easy. We I think we showed that on one of our videos out in Oregon, I'm pretty sure, where we backed in and Heidi wanted to show how easy it was. We haven't had our air running at all inside. Heidi just came out, she goes, it's 87 inside the RV. I said, you better turn them both on. It don't feel like 87 out here. I'm sitting in front of a fan now, trying to keep these sweat bees off me. Heidi's got to come out because I can't even read the screen from there. I'm following you for about 3 to 4 years now. Cool. Awesome. Man, that seems like a long time, don't it? You going to come read this at least, or what?
I want to.
Well, I can't read what they're saying. Is the battery full on this?
No.
What's it at?
Oh, it's 3/4, 73%.
Maybe you can unplug it. She's taking it out of camera angle because she don't want to be smoking on the screen.
Yeah, that's rude.
You got the microphone, so
Oh, well, I'll take that off.
don't be blowing smoke on the microphone. Yeah, if you guys have any reason to do YouTube stuff or whatever, think about these little wireless mics. These things are awesome. They're wireless. I have a little thing that's hooked to the phone that's just as big as this. They all charge. They're rechargeable, and they are 7 hours we can go on this single charge.
Jane says she likes your mechanical expertise.
Oh, I don't know about that. Is it expertise or BS?
Both.
Yeah, sometimes it's BS. Not really. I've been working on stuff a long time, and I
Nice. He can fix anything.
I just learned.
Even the stuff we pay for
I don't
people
know.
to do for
Yeah,
us.
yeah, yeah. We've paid plenty of times for people to do work, and then I had to fix it. But I'm very, very lucky that for whatever reason I can just figure out how stuff works. I don't know why. I've always, since I was real young, I just know how it just makes sense to me. So I can take crap apart and it makes, and as far as improvements, I can think of ways that things could be improved or I can make improvements on. Like I said, I have no artistic talent whatsoever. Musical, I mean, I was in band and stuff like that, but I don't remember how long I was in band, from fourth grade to ninth grade, I think. And yeah, that it's funny how certain skills people have certain skills and other people don't. I mean, okay, carpentry. I can put two pieces of wood together, but man, I can't. I'm not good at it. I'm I'm good at over reinforcing stuff and over building stuff, but I don't know like tricks or shortcuts or how to measure stuff the right way. There's just stuff I can't do. But yeah, as far as mechanical stuff, it all makes sense to me. But I'm not artistic enough to do any kind of whiteboard drawing necessarily. Her smoke's almost got across the lens.
Did it?
You guys seeing any
Yeah, I see.
fog coming across? So, what other questions do you guys possibly have? I was just looking at battery level. We're very happy where we're at. This is a great place to come to. There's a lot of times we're a little selfish, to be honest. There's a lot of times that we get to places like this, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to tell them about this part of the park. You know? Yeah, it's kind of a secret, and it's kind of nice and it's the same with a lot of places that we go to. That place in Satsuma that we were at, that wasn't necessarily cheap. It wasn't expensive, but it was kind of cool. It was just kind of an old-timey feel, sort of. And they were just piecing it together to keep it running and that's awesome. Heidi was looking at buying an RV park in Hastings, Florida for $1.6 million. It had 30 sites. All of them had full hookup and sewer. However, there was no amenities close. There was nothing close. There was a river.
He said, you have
Hey.
me a prowler roof replacement.
Say what now?
Slowly says, you had me at the prowler roof replacement.
Prowler. A prowler roof.
And we had a Terry.
Oh, he's talking about our travel trailer? The Terry?
Yeah.
Yeah. It does look like a prowler. You know that? I just realized that.
Yeah.
That RV it must have been both built by Fleetwood. Do you have any other questions? Anything else we could cover? Because this was pretty much we were going to blow the day off on just updating everybody, letting you know what was going on.
Troy said here that I was also looking to buy a fifth wheel.
The rumor seems to be going around pretty darn heavy. And you know what they say? Now that it's out on the internet, it must be true. Yeah, we've got we got to get propane for the RV before we go. We got a little checklist We're down to 52% on one tank. The other tank's empty, but the other tank's been empty for how long?
Month?
It had to be longer than that, right? Well, wait a minute. Where were we? Oregon.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, we
been a
were,
while.
because we was running the furnace in Oregon. Boy, it was cold. I mean, think about it. Right now, as we sit here and sweat, it's 87 in Ohio. Oregon, out there at that campground, the highest temperature they're going to see is like maybe 70, but it's probably most likely in the 60s. How in the world? Forget that. I know people love that stuff. Just like we love the heat, they love the cold. I do like the fact that they're not swatting at sweat bees right now. They're not running a fan to keep them cool. They are running a furnace at night, most likely, though. We've seen a lot, and rightfully so. We blew through a lot of states really fast. We stopped and seen what we wanted to see. We enjoy the travel a lot. We like traveling. We knew that we wanted to get back to Ohio and give us enough time that if something medically needed to be worked on, that we had plenty of time, which now we do. We have more than enough time. So that was kind of a plan. But it was nice seeing all those states and everything that, for the most part, they had to offer as far as the terrain, the roads, the people, just the climate. Some of it bad, some of it good. I mean, like all those fires.
Yeah.
That was crazy. That was, I don't want to experience that. Who would have thought that I would have hated the mountains as much as I did because of health issues? I dreaded every night going to sleep thinking, am I going to get a good night's sleep tonight? Or is this going to be one of those nights that I can't get enough oxygen? It was weird. But the views were awesome. The other thing is driving through the mountains. Oh, that gets old after a while. It's just, man, you just want to set your cruise control and just relax for a little bit. But it's always a twist here, a turn there. You're up a hill, you're down a hill. You're always going climbing. Oh, we got a flat. Oh, we're climbing some. Oh, now we're going downhill. And even the flats, all of a sudden it's, got a peak in it. And the desert was really awesome. We liked the desert. I love the views in the desert. I like being able to see for as far as we can. I like the heat of the desert. I didn't like the dust. The dust part of things was the worst. It just knowing that you're breathing that in all the time. And I mean, there's even a disease that's in the dust in Arizona. If you live there, you could contract it. Heidi had all the numbers for that at some point. How many people die a year from it, and
Yeah.
they just started treating it, a few years back, and it's just weird. It's some kind of a bacteria that lives in the sand and the dust, and if it's real windy, it kicks up, and you can inhale it really easy. It's airborne, and but the dust part of things, I didn't like that. The sun was awesome. Just seeing the sun every day with no clouds. But when we started driving out of that and we got into Colorado, and the first time we seen clouds and there were shadows on the road and there was rain, it was like, oh my God, this is so nice. It was really a nice change. It was pleasant. So I guess everything with moderation, but we're gonna spend our time moving down the coast over here. I wish we went out west and there was something like Heidi says about RVs of, oh man, this is it. Look how awesome this is. This is all unique. When we went out west, there was a lot of unique stuff and there was a lot of awesomeness. But at no point really, until we got to Washington and Oregon, at no point did we go, I can see myself living out here. We thought about it in Yuma, but then we realized that we didn't like the fact that we were, like I said, drying out and just in dust. There's so much dust going on there. Every day we dust off our truck. There was dust laying on it, but we didn't really see that out there. So now we're back on this coast, and we're gonna just slowly move down. I should say this coast, this side of the country, but we're going to move down the coast, the East Coast, and enjoy the stuff that we kind of feel comfortable with. There's a certain level of comfort that makes you accept an area also. I mean, if you are used to seeing green and, feeling humidity and seeing certain trees and, them blooming and seeing certain bugs and knowing, certain animals are in the area, that kind of thing, you get used to that, especially as long as we've lived in this area. So we know going down the coast there are changes, but there's not drastic changes, not like there was out west. And again, it's funny because the places that we liked the most reminded us the most of Ohio, I guess. And that was, again, Washington and Oregon. But we're here. Any more questions?
Sully says, is Yuma humid? He said humid.
Yeah, no.
No, dry. That's what's so awesome about it.
It is. I don't even know how to describe it. It is dry. You hang out there's a perfect example. If you want to wash your undies or a towel, other than the dust, you just wring it out real well and you put it out in the sun, in the wind, and it's done. It's dry faster than a dryer will. Yeah, it's dry. It's faster than a dryer, especially like in our case, it was 117. So you got to figure it's almost dryer heat.
We got a question here.
Yeah.
Are you spending more than what's coming in? Nope. I don't think so.
Yes, but not because of living reasons. It's because of I bought an $1,800 scooter. I bought an $800 scooter.
Wow.
We bought a $5,000 or $4,000 upgrade membership.
Right. But we have the means to pay for those.
We bought $2,000 electric bicycles, not these.
But they're not on credit.
Yeah, they're not on credit.
Yeah.
No, oh yeah. No, we're not. Yeah. But as far as like cost of living, for us, if we were just to have left our house and we didn't buy anything, we were just living on the road, just traveling and paying for food, health, gas, medicines, and RV parks. If we were just paying for that, no, we're not. No, it comes out relatively low. I think that a good number. You think 3,000? No, probably a little bit more than that. 3,500
a month we spend.
Yeah. No. I'm saying. If you were just to.
Oh yeah.
If you get a 1,000 Trails membership and you pay it off, you can live just fine with $3,500 a month.
But you need not to have any debt.
Right. No debt.
Yeah.
That's what I said. If you pay off the membership, you own your RV, you own your truck. $3,500 a month is more than enough. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. I can't think of any. I mean, this allows you to go out and eat. This allows you to go check out play. I'm not talking about you living in your RV, watching a campfire, neighbors, because you can't afford firewood, and eating ramen noodles every day, 3 times a day. I'm talking about you actually, just living a lifestyle, just checking out the sights and doing all that. We don't want you to get discouraged by some of the thumbnail clickbait that goes on about I'm quitting and this is why, and it's too crowded and all that stuff. It's not any more challenging than just living in a house and dealing with your job day to day and driving to work.
Nathan and Tessie, Living Our Journey, says $3,500 is living like a king.
Yes, I agree. That's why I'm playing it safe.
Yeah.
I'm playing it safe, guys.
Okay, so the next question, it says, do you drive main interstates or secondary roads? I will say main
Almost
interstates.
main interstates, because some of these secondary roads become us looking at each other going, this is a road? I mean, some of the secondary roads get pretty rough. So let's say, here's the thing. a lot of these places that we go to, though, you got to figure a lot of RV parks are not on the main highways.
Right. So you do
You
have to.
have to travel secondary roads to get to them.
But we
So,
don't look out for secondary roads to travel
yeah,
to get
right.
our
We
from
would,
place to place.
for example, when we came back here, we could have just as easily taken US 30 instead of 70 to 70, 70 to 62, and then we could have taken 30 all the way here, but we didn't want to. It's who needs that hassle? I think if you, and we have at times taken secondary roads to where, perfect example, when we were driving through at night, we saw that bear that we did that video. That was we took that, it was a secondary road,
Yeah.
and it was at night, and it's because we knew we didn't
Straight.
necessarily have any amount of time that we had to worry about. And we knew we were just going to fire up the generator once we get stopped somewhere, which we ended up not doing it because it was a nice cool night. I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah, I didn't run the generator. Oh,
Right.
remind me, I have to order that ring for the 30 amp for the side of the RV. Remember when I made
Yeah.
a mistake, drug that corn? I got to order another one of those rings.
Um,
But yeah, the secondary roads is one of those things. If you're fully self-contained, you got plenty of water, you got a generator, you have battery power, or it's cool enough you can run at night, without running any of those things. Secondary roads are awesome. Just realize you're not going to make any time whatsoever, and who knows what you're going to get into. But that's part of the adventure. Man, you see some crazy stuff on these side roads, I'll tell you. Okay, next question.
um, is the dust out in the desert as bad as they say? Someone's going to quartzsite this winter. Well, we don't know because
We weren't in quartzsite,
Yeah.
but I just make sure that you,
and we weren't there in the winter.
yeah, right. Yeah, we were there in May. We were in Yuma in May. I don't know. I don't have an answer how to prepare because I didn't get put in that position. I will have to say, though, if we went to the desert and we were going to be there for a period of time, I would consider making sure that I found where most of the wind came from, and I would probably point my non-entrance side of my RV towards that. Unfortunately, that puts my slides out into the wind, and if you get a windstorm, you're going to want to wipe off all your seals real good, blow off the top of your RV, all that stuff, your slide top, and lubricate or whatever. Anyways, get your slide in for those windstorms because they'll blow past the seals. They'll blow past the seals of your slides and put sand inside your RV. However, the majority of the time, in not a sandstorm, of course, all that stuff is getting sandy and dirty. But in my case, you can see we got our refrigerator on this side, our furnace is on this side, our hot water tank's on this side, and we got 2 entrance doors on this side. The vent for the stove is on this side. So both the doors, we're going to be going in and out. I don't want dust blowing in as soon as we open the door, nor do I want the doors getting ripped out of our hands when we open them because the wind. So that's the only advice I could really give. It's a desert. It's a desert environment. So yes, there's dust and there's wind. It's just, some days are okay. I mean, we were in Yuma. There was a lot of days that was fine, but at any point the wind could just kick up because it's a flat desert. And I mean, stuff happens. You can see it off in the distance and all of a sudden it's there on top of you.
Sully said no driving in the dark for him. He said he's heard too many reports on critter collisions on a scanner. Sully says popping those axles in is easy as oil change.
Yeah, they're pretty easy. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, 30. Going back to what I was saying about that dollar amount that we were throwing out at you. That's to be you feel very comfortable out there. Now on the low side of things, wow. Again, if you have no bills and you have 1,000 Trails membership, like ours, for example. Well, no, not even like ours. As long as you work the system. But the thing is with ours is, if we're staying someplace 21 days and then we can go to the next park for 21 days, then we can go to the next park at 21 days. I can eat up a year worth of time with driving very little. I mean, every 21 days I got to fire up the truck and drive. Where if you do a camping pass or something and you do that 2 weeks out for a week, back in for 2 weeks, that kind of thing, you're moving, twice as much as what we are. So you're going to be using more gas and stuff. However, on the low side of things, I would think that other, health, you can't do healthcare and stuff like that. But I mean, just as far as everyday, us just getting groceries and doing our thing at the campground, I think we could exist off of
2,000.
2,000. Yeah, I don't see
Yeah.
why not. I really can't. 2,000 should be the low side of things for a travel trailer with a truck staying in RV parks.
Nathan and Tessie living our journey says, don't matter which direction you point your rig, you're getting dust regardless.
Yeah, it doesn't
He
surprise me.
said he spends a lot of time in quartzsite.
Yeah, so
he says it's a constant battle.
You get that. You need to be picking people's brains that've been out there, because when we were in Yuma, we had wind and it came from both directions. Yeah. And the dust was there. However, when we were in Texas, in Van Horn, Texas, the wind seemed to come from one direction mainly. Yeah. And those dust devils would pop up out of nowhere.
Especially it was just all dirt in Texas.
Yeah.
Dirt parking.
Yeah. Yeah, I
wish we had a video of that. I can still see it looking out the back window. It was brown out. It was just brown dirt. You couldn't see nothing.
Oh, it was awesome, guys. The neighbor, so he comes in, he's got a bit, where was he from?
I forget.
Anyways, he's traveled through there quite a bit. He comes in his big, high dollar Class A, big diesel pusher, and he gets out. He sets up right away. He puts up his big, one of these things that open up on the side of his RV. He's got a stereo and got this big TV, and he pulls out the TV. He's got it turned kind of sideways for himself. He's got his chair. He's got his drink, and he's got a little table there for himself. He's got his wife's table and everything. And he's sitting back, and he's going to sit there and watch some TV. He just got in. He set all up, and he's going to watch some TV. And here comes that dust devil. Holy cow, man. It chairs, he's trying to get his chairs and stuff. His drink, he had to dump it for sure. I don't know if his TV got blasted or not. Our awning was out. Our awning did this wild...
all the way out.
Yeah, it did this wild flapping thing. And we're rolling it in during the dust devil, because it's going to tear it off if not. And it rolls it in all crooked and but it got rolled in. One arm's high, one arm's low, and
got bent a little.
Yeah, but it got in. It got in. But yeah, that was crazy. That thing just popped out of nowhere. Again, I love the heat, but I missed the humidity part of things, which I know for as far as comfort wise, being in the heat out there is more comfortable than being in the heat here.
Yeah.
I could be sitting here, like right now we
got to be at 80.
No, it's higher than that.
Oh,
it was supposed to be 87 or 88 today. Let me look.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We have a little fan.
It's only 1:30. I thought it was later than that. It is.
That's right.
84 degrees.
Yeah.
So we feel as comfortable at 84 degrees as we are right now in humidity with this little fan running, blowing on our legs basically, as we do at 100 degrees, sitting with no fan blowing on us, in the same clothes that we currently have on in Arizona, in Yuma.
Yeah. It's just different.
Yeah, it's I this would be like us being in 100 degrees for sure,
Yeah.
as long as you're in the shade.
Yeah.
The kid around, we all joke, you've heard the joke 1,000 times. It's 115 in the shade. Well, it makes a difference. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's a huge difference.
Yeah.
There's a big difference to that. So, yeah, pick the brains of people that have been out at Quartzsite. Ask them what they do. If if I was there for a period of time, the thing that I'd want to do is protect my slides and protect the openings that are going to get
Blasted.
blasted by just
Yeah.
dust every day. Unfortunately, you got to run well, maybe not. I would be running my rooftop air conditioner, so then, they're seeing dust. It's horrible.
Yeah, it's just something that you got to deal with when you're out there, though. Hopefully, well, there's always dirt in the air. I mean, even here.
Yeah. So, the one thing I want you guys to take away from that is Quartzsite offers very inexpensive living. You can get into some of these long-term, the LTVA,
Yeah.
that you can, pay your hundred and whatever it is, $68 or $28, $128 or $168 for 6 months, and you got a place that you can put water in your tanks, and you can dump your tanks. You don't have power, and you don't have, a direct water hookup. You got to pack that in and out. However, it's very inexpensive to stay out there. So if you have solar that keeps your power going for you, or a generator, however you want to do it, it's a cheap way to do that. I'm saying that if you go back to our videos when we first started, I think the title of the video was Campgrounds for Sure, or something like that. And it was us knowing that we enjoy being at campgrounds a lot more than we did boondocking. We don't mind boondocking. It's just the campground part of things makes it to where I don't have to worry so much about the RV, and I can go explore. And
It's a security.
it is. It's a security feeling. Now, if we loaded up on solar, we would probably try the desert a little bit more if we liked the desert more. But I'm going to tell you that if you think that you're leaning towards what we do on the campground side of things, look at Thousand Trails. It's the only national membership that even comes close to being able to afford you a full-time lifestyle on the road. Well, for very little money. You're still going to have to pay to get into the membership. You're still going to have to pay a yearly fee thing. If you finance it, which I don't recommend, but if you have to finance it, you're going to have to pay a decent interest rate and a monthly payment that takes away from your budget. The thing is try to get, debt free. Just try to get debt free. Do what you can, and realize that once you're at that point, maybe you're not buying a brand new RV. Maybe you're not buying a brand new truck. I'm going to be, again, as honest as I can with you guys. We could have just as easily did everything that we have done so far with our old truck and our old RV. We just feel more comfortable doing it with a new truck and a new RV. If we would have kept our old truck and our old RV, we would have had an extra $80,000 at our disposal to go do whatever we wanted, or to do this indefinitely, or to buy another RV and just leave it sit somewhere. But we feel that there's definitely we have sensed at some of the campgrounds that we've gone to that have not been Thousand Trails and have not been Encore, private parks, that when they hear that we have a 2020 and a 2020, they're a little bit more open to bringing us in. I don't know what that means, and I don't know how other people might be getting treated. I'm just saying that it seems like they kind of want newer units in some of their parks. And it's because they can be picky. Now, that doesn't mean when we've gotten to the park, we have seen it all.
Yeah,
We,
don't think that because they're asking you what your rig is, that when you get to the park, that you're going to see exactly what you think they expect. Because even at this park here, they asked us what we had.
oh my.
And there's some questionable rigs in here, but they probably pay their lot rent. They probably don't cause any trouble.
Right.
And they've probably been here for 10 or 12 years or whatever.
Right. And we've gone into places that people are traveling and they have old rigs.
Yeah.
They have old vehicles. They have old.
And sometimes you might not run into that.
Yeah.
We had that motorhome that was stayed at our house.
Oh, yeah.
He said that he'd only had a problem with one place.
Right. We have, where was I thinking? You said probably, oh, and don't think that, because we don't, we're pretty humble about this stuff. You know, we were at, what park were we at? Orlando. We were at Orlando in the winter, and I'm sure it's going to be that way again. And we were in the new section with our newer truck and our newer RV. We were the smallest looking little tiny, looked like we were camping.
Yeah.
Looks like we were just little campers, because these guys were coming in with big dually diesels and big, tall, full profile fifth wheels.
So sorry.
They were, so when you would pull into our row, bless you, bless you. Is that it? Because 3's my limit.
I don't even know where that came from.
These units were full-blown, full profile, you know, and ours, when you pull, that's what I was saying, when we pulled into our aisle or our row, you could barely see our little tiny RV. It looked like we were there with a little retro camper or something, one of those little tiny single axle campers, because the stuff around us was so big.
What the heck?
It's not to say that we want to go into that, because even the fifth wheels we're looking at are not full profile fifth wheels. We do not want a full profile fifth wheel because of the wind drag that's involved, would just kill our gas mileage even more. Got a little gnat that just decided to hang out here. Where did that little gnat come from? But the fact of having a fifth wheel would be a little bit nicer just for some room. But then again, if we found a travel trailer with just a little bit more room here, we might think about it, especially now that we're slowing down on our traveling a little bit. I mean, we were all fast and furious there, weren't we, Heidi?
Yeah.
We're moving some states. I'm telling you guys, if we would have been doing real time, you would have been going, what? You're where?
Yeah.
Because we moved. I mean, we were moving. I was doing high 400s to high 500 miles a day, bouncing from place to place.
Got some good questions here. What's the biggest expense traveling? Food or fuel?
For us, it was fuel, the way we were driving.
Yeah.
We've got like 9,000 miles on this trip on the odometer of the truck, and I averaged 7.6 miles per gallon. I was putting premium in everywhere we went. Even though Oregon, the premium was only 89 octane. Matter of fact, the truck has currently seen one full tank of not premium gas since we got here for all this local running around we're doing. It's the first time this truck hasn't had at least 89 octane in it. We've always run premium. So the gas is expensive, is what I was saying. Find yourself some fuel discount deals. I know that they have for diesel trucks. That is an advantage to have a diesel. Two things. One, getting into the diesel fuel stations with your RV. It's a lot easier if you've got a diesel to pull into these Pilots or Flying J's, Love truck stops or whatever, because you can go in with the trucks and get your fuel there. Not only that, but you can get a fuel discount card for diesel. You can't get a fuel discount card for gas unless you get a gas card from each different gas station you may go to. So we do have a Pilot Flying J gas card. We do get reduced, I think it's 6 cents a gallon on every gallon that we use, and it's unlimited. But we have to go to the pull-through pumps, you know, where all the cars are, to do that with our trailer. So there's another advantage of a diesel. However, still 7 miles to the gallon, or 7.6 miles to the gallon over 8,000 miles. I mean, it adds up even with the discounts. So
Somebody wants to know what a full profile fifth wheel is.
you'll see them. It's when you're driving down the road and one's coming at you,
And they're beautiful.
and you think this looks like a minivan pulling this fifth wheel coming at us. And as they get closer, you realize it's a full-size dually diesel four-wheel drive. But the profile's so tall. These things, they're so tall. If you go back and look at our RV shopping that we did in Tampa, at the Tampa RV show, we did a review of the Arcadia, and that Arcadia is a low profile. We also looked at some Rockwood fifth wheels. Those are low profile. I shouldn't say low profile. They're just regular profile fifth wheels. They're not high profile. These full profile ones, you'll know the difference. You just walk up to them, they look like monsters. They're huge. They're just really tall. And there's a lot of people out there that don't know there's a difference, and they think that they can tow it with, honestly, I don't even know if I'd tow it with a single rear wheel drive F350 if I had a full profile fifth wheel. I think I'd want a dually, because that's a lot of stuff sticking up in the air.
Robert Sitch said that a lot of parks are having trouble with people with low incomes.
Getting evicted
having
out of there.
issues, low incomes leaving their older trailers and not paying rent for a while.
Yeah, because you can't. The problem with, if you guys don't know this, I mean, this is something that mechanics go through. You can put a mechanic's lien on somebody's vehicle that don't pay their bill for their car, but it takes a while for that mechanic's lien to go through the courts and everything. And if the person that is basically screwing you over on your repair puts up any kind of fight whatsoever, it drags it out even longer. Well, you can imagine, then at that point you're thinking, well, maybe I'll just call a tow truck company and have them tow it to the wrecking yard. Just say, hey, come get it and take. Tow truck company won't take a vehicle without a title.
Yeah.
They just won't do it.
So they sit there for months and months and months.
Can you imagine an RV that's in a gray area? I mean, is that a home, or is that a vehicle? It's kind of a vehicle, but is it a home? I know this because of Heidi, and Heidi will reiterate this. Heidi used to, you guys didn't know this, when her and I first started dating, she was a bill collector, and she was a good bill collector. She didn't put up with no crap, no way. And then she changed her job from medical bills, where she was collecting for mainly medical bills. And we used to go on dates, and she'd search properties at the courthouse and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. But she started doing mobile homes. And I think that RVs probably fall under the same category as mobile homes. And that is, the mobile home could be repoed at any time. But if they didn't want to repo it, because they owned the title to it, but if they didn't want to repo it and they wanted their money out of it, they couldn't put a lien against it because they already had a lien against it. They owned the title to it. Unless those people took their wheels and tires off and put it on blocks, that then attached it to the property, and they could put a lien against that property. Well, I think that there might be the same thing going on with RVs, that a lot of these parks, and that's what I would do if I owned a park and I had somebody that left an RV behind. I would take the RV off of the lot to make that lot available for the next person. Of course, you got to realize that's a lot of work, because now if you move that RV, they could say you damaged this. I had my grandpa's ashes inside and they fell over and busted, and whatever. I had an antique this and it fell over and broke. Doesn't make a difference. They could, even, what if they had their slides out? Now you got to break into their RV. You're breaking and entering into their home to put the slides in. Maybe the slides don't even work. But the thing that I think that I would do if I was an RV park owner, would explore the option of pulling the wheels and tires off and putting it on blocks on my property, because at that point now that has become affixed to my property.
Except you're not allowed to do that
Wow.
whenever you have a loan on a mobile home.
Right. 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 So as far
We sent out, I don't know the whole, because I obviously wasn't there because we were a third party, but they they've had helicopters come out and get those.
yeah, place she worked at, they used to they were up in the hills of West Virginia, and they had these,
Oh
you
my
know,
gosh, they would put these
$100,000
homes.
homes out in the middle of the hills,
Yeah.
and then they wouldn't pay the bills. They'd send helicopters out to to get them back if they were new
But
enough.
honestly, I would probably do the same thing if I had a mobile home, was get the wheels off,
Right. So the
even though it's not
we're not supposed to.
right.
But the idea behind that being a problem that's existing is just the state of the homelessness that's going on out there, the state of the economy on some level. I mean, we're doing okay, but not everybody's doing okay. I mean, the pandemic hurt a lot of people on some level, but or a lot of people on a lot of levels. But the thing is we just told you that us being on the road, we could do it as little as $2,000 a month, and that's with us traveling around. We could get into some of these parks. I mean, like this park, it's $400 a month plus electric.
Yeah, but how much is it for a season?
It's $1,900 for a premium site for a season here
Is it
plus
6
electric.
or 7 months?
It's 6 months.
Yeah, that's
6
pretty
months.
cheap.
It's cheap considering, right?
I mean, before we started doing this, we didn't think it was cheap
right,
because we wouldn't be here
right, yeah,
all the time.
And that's the thing. A lot of these campgrounds, they're geared for people that are coming out on the weekends and enjoying themselves. They don't ever expect, holy cow, these people are living here.
Yeah.
So, like I said, at $2,000, these people that are needing to scrape by,
Yeah.
they find an old RV that probably needs a ton of work to even be living in normally, that half the stuff don't work, but it's better than them living in a tent on the edge of the freeway,
Yeah.
which we see plenty of that.
Yeah.
And they're getting that RV into a park, and that's it. Now, maybe they make their bills, maybe they don't make their bills.
Yeah.
They're hoping for people not to kick them out. Yeah, I think that's going to be addressed on some level at some point, but I don't know how or when, tell you the truth. Okay, what else we got going?
Sully said, I thought I was witnessing a repo or removal of an older trailer as the slide was out when the tractor moved it. The girl just had the maintenance workers move it to her sister's, next to her sister.
Oh, we thought, hey, Sully, I'm going to be honest with you. Where were we at?
He said, people are in tough spots, their own problem or otherwise. It's
Yep.
true.
Where were we at? And I said, I think I'm not even going to move in the slides. We're just going to move it. Because we had to move spots.
Florida at the beach.
Oh, Ormond.
Ormond Beach.
Yeah,
But
we ended up leaving. But I told her I had to move one spot over. Just one. And there's plenty of room. And I was thinking, I could do that with the slides out.
I bet that it wouldn't have been good.
So
Regardless,
we ended
a
up
quick
leaving
stop
anyways.
or a wrong turn.
Yeah.
We'd been living in a hotel room trying to get our slides fixed by the dealer.
In hindsight, we stayed at places that we were really excited to. Some of them turned out to be awesome. Some of them turned out to be just okay. I'll have to say, though, there's a couple places that we look back and it's like, man, I can't believe the kind of money we spent to stay there. There's some places that are way expensive for what they are.
And I would say that's all of them that we've been to.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, I do. We don't have to do it again.
Except for Hills, we paid for that extra week.
Oh, well, that's just a mobile home park.
Oh, I like that place.
It was okay.
Well, I'm saying the places we chose to pay.
Oh, okay.
That's all. Now, what she's referring to is like Okeechobee. I love the people. I love the park. I love the water was right there.
That was the end of it. There's nothing.
I love the pool. The people were by far the best.
The pool.
we didn't use it. I'm
Oh, I
just
forgot
saying it
there
was
was a
there.
pool. We did,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I loved the park.
It's
Um,
just in the wrong location.
yeah, but man, it was expensive.
Yeah, $100 a night.
Yeah. So then, and we stayed there for a while.
Yeah, 20 some days.
Yeah. So then the other place, Ormond Beach. We loved the beach. We loved the location. We didn't like that it was windy and stormy, it seemed like every day.
For 5 days in a row.
We didn't like that the truck and trailer was getting covered in salt on a daily basis, salt spray. We loved all the restaurants and everything that was close. Um, we didn't like how much it cost. It was expensive.
Yeah.
We loved the laundry room. It worked.
Yeah, it was nice.
But it was very expensive.
Yeah, and there's really no need.
And oh, well, we loved the people whenever we had friends come and visit. When
Yeah.
Jeff and Zeta came,
Yeah.
that was awesome. But yeah, for a long-term stay, we should have done something different because I don't remember how much or I don't know how long we stayed there, but that was like $100 a day too. Is that me?
Might have been me.
That's got to be you. So be aware that some of these places that charge a lot of money for stays, you may or may not want to do it, even though it looks very appealing. I think our lesson there is we need to stay at the place for a normal little short term, and then later on decide if we want to stay at that same. For example, Ormond Beach. Would we go back there? Yes. Would we do it for more than a week? No. Would we be doing it more than 3 days? Probably not. And it would have to be an off season so that
Yeah.
it doesn't cost very much.
Yep.
So that's answer that. And what we should have done was 3 days to find out, this is all right, but we don't need to be here anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
Some of the parks that we've gone into, we've been really impressed with and almost shocked at how nice they are for how little they charge. Some of them charge an okay rate. What was the place that we stayed that had the bike trail that went to Mansfield? The one that had the creek that ran alongside that we rode. We rode your scooter up and down the thing.
Yeah, that was.
Well, I can't remember what the name of that place was. It was a good stay. It wasn't very expensive. It was a nice park. People are great there. We needed propane. The guy says, just
Set it out.
set it outside and I'll come get it with the golf cart. Just put your name on it. And they filled it, and then we went and paid later. There was a bike trail.
River Trail Crossing Campground.
Yeah, River Trail Crossing Campground.
Butler, Ohio.
Butler, Ohio.
Yeah.
Nice place, great place.
Yeah.
We've been in places like that, and we're like, wow, this is actually really nice. We liked it. They had fishing there, because that creek was right there. So where else was we like that? It was really cheap, or it was.
Lake Eufaula was.
Oh, Lake Eufaula. There's another one.
Somebody was just on here asking about it. That was nice.
Had great fishing, which we didn't do. We should have.
Right.
Definitely. Which we're supposed to be fishing today, matter of fact, at your mom's place. I forgot.
Yeah, we're going to go there shortly.
Oh, okay.
So, question.
Anyways, Lake Eufaula's in Eufaula, Alabama.
Yes.
And they were very inexpensive. They had a special rate. They have a bike trail that runs you all the way into town that you can ride you go past a bunch of scenic views. Just nice. It's very nice. The other campground that we were at in Colorado, or in Washington, that one was reasonable. We rode our bikes, all those trails, down to the river. The mountains were right there.
Yep.
There was that little restaurant we had lunch at. So there's a lot of nice places to be had out there. And just for FYI, we didn't have reservations at none of those places. We just called them up and said, can we come in and stay? And they said, yeah. So a lot of places to be found out there like that.
Somebody's equipment is running.
No. What she's smelling is there's been spraying
Pesticides?
pesticides.
We're going to die.
We're not going to die. It's not that strong. But yeah, that is the mosquito spray that we're smelling.
Question here says, how did you deal with the salt spray on Ormond Beach? He says, I'm concerned with the salt at places like Magnolia Beach in Texas due to the salt. We just made sure we got a good wash.
We washed the truck. We were there for how long? 3 weeks? 2.5 weeks?
Yeah, just over 2 weeks.
We washed the truck probably 4 times.
Yeah.
Every time we'd go out, if we were even close to the car wash, we'd go wash the truck. The RV had to wait. Blue Beacon, we've done videos on that. Blue Beacon RV truck wash. Just look for them. There's an app. There's a little map.
Yeah,
There's an app that you can get to find Blue Beacon. The closest one to us, like right here, is, I don't know, 30 some miles away.
Yeah.
But yeah, just you can drive your truck and your RV through. You have to wait in line for a long time. Just
some are
relax.
longer than others.
Yeah, some are an hour and a half before you can get in. But they'll wash your vehicle very well. Everyone that we had except for one has done an exceptional job. And they'll, of course, they don't get on the roof and scrub your roof, but they will spray everything off, and they will, if you ask, they'll ask, is a brush okay? We say, yep, you can brush our truck and our trailer. They ask if we want to have the brightener, which we do the brightener. Don't do there's a Citrus Shine. The Citrus Shine is a wheel cleaner that is pretty strong and might mess up your clear coat on your wheels, which I think they're trained not to, because the one guy said they're not allowed to do that.
We actually pay about less than $70 for both.
And that's with the Rain-X,
Yep.
the brightener, and then brushing the whole thing from front to rear. And sometimes they always ask about our undercarriage. I don't worry so much about the undercarriage because this ain't Ohio salty roads in the winter. So I don't necessarily want them spraying the underside of this trailer because, it's just that coroplast that's underneath there.
Yeah, Robert said he's read that some RV parks have monthly propane delivery. Yep.
Yes. I mean, the park we're at now, we could drive over and have our propane filled. But some of them do have to where they'll come around and fill up. Okeechobee had that.
Yeah.
Okeechobee had a truck that came through and would fill
Only
all the
if you had a
motorhomes.
motorhome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something about the RV wash. I can't remember what I was going to say about that. Shoot, I can't remember. Something about the RV wash.
I don't know.
Just use it.
Yeah.
It works.
Yep.
Is that it? Is that all the questions?
Yep.
Well, we've been on here for a little while. Not like we
4 hours.
normally have. 90 people. Thanks for everybody joining in. We
Yeah.
love it. You guys have been great.
We'll do this again.
We're trying to get our videos on okay, here's the deal. We've been noticing a deficiency, as a lot of YouTubers have, in YouTube income that's been coming in. The videos that we've been doing, I think, might have contributed to it on our end to some level, because I was doing hour-long YouTube videos that were covering a lot of content. I know a lot of you don't want to wait a whole hour or sit an hour to see what's going on. Other people like that. I enjoy the longer ones watching YouTube. However, Heidi knows firsthand how many times I've been editing our videos and I've gone, oh my God, this guy won't shut up. I need to shorten this up. I'm getting tired just listening to him. Of course, it's me. So I think what we're going to try to do is maybe some shorter videos, but at maybe a better pace.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put up videos though if we don't have content.
Yeah.
I know that we don't mind checking in with you guys. Maybe we
It's a
can do
little
that more with
different
live.
Right. And it's a little different because we're home.
You're right. Right.
I mean, this isn't our home anymore, but
Right.
we're visiting family.
Yeah, it feels like home. I mean, the RV is really like home anymore.
Yeah. Well, we call it our house.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
Back home.
Yeah, when are we gonna get back? I'm wanting to go back home. We went out on our way back from getting back here. We stopped that one night at the hotel and stayed at the hotel. Since then, we have stayed again at that hotel because we were out and Heidi, she wanted to drink, I wanted to drink, and we wanted to have dinner at our favorite restaurant. So we stayed at that same hotel again. Plus, we wanted to enjoy the hot tub, the jacuzzi. It's a jacuzzi suite, and we used to do that all the time when we lived at our house. Yeah, it's weird seeing our house again. It's weird seeing somebody live there. It drives me crazy. I drive by, and our screened-in porch that I built, that Heidi and I built, has these windows that we put in for when it rains, and also for the winter. We put up the windows so we could sit out there and be warm in the winter. And of course, the rain, we want to keep it dry on the porch. Well, those windows, I rigged them up, and I have a system that was set up above it to where you take the two front windows and you stack them on top of each other, and they set on the ledge, and they have a hook on them, and you hook it to a thing that I have in the roof of the porch. And that holds those two windows up there. Then you open the big window that's on a hinge, and it's got a hook, and it hooks so it stays open. Then the big window in the back, it comes out, it sets up on the ledge, it has a hook to hold it up out of the way. And then there's another big window, the other one that faces the driveway, that folds up, and it has a hook to hold it up. So all of those window pieces are up out of the way off of the porch. We drive by and they don't know how it works, so they've got those big window pieces just sitting on their porch, in the way, just in the way of your view, of the breeze, everything else. And it's like, man, I gotta stop. I want to stop and show them how in the hell that works. Maybe they'll remember.
Maybe you can before we leave.
Yeah.
But anyway,
that's definitely got to be it. We got stuff to do. Look forward to the video of me upgrading our ProPride hitch with these V2 jacks. I can't wait. I'm very excited about that. That's one of the best upgrades we're going to do since the generator box in the back, because it's something that we utilize all the time. And
let's see, catch a big fish today. I don't know if we're going fishing. But
yeah, I don't know either. But that's the only thing I have to tell you, to look forward to, because I really don't know. And we're not going to force content. We'll check in with you guys. Of course, like I've always said, and some of you have jumped on board. I mean, I'm not pushing that. That's up to you. We have a Patreon page, and Heidi updates the Patreon page all the time. I try
to
once a week.
Yeah, at least once a week. And
it's whatever stupid little thing we might be doing or experiencing, maybe some more personal notes, stuff like that. That's what happens on Patreon. So if you want to consider joining on, go ahead. You get other content there. Other than that, Facebook has a tendency to get a couple updates here and there, and then Instagram. YouTube, what you're seeing now, that's kind of the tail end of things. That's where we do the last bit of the update, because it's usually encompassing of everything that's going on, and some of it leaves out some of the more personal dumb stuff that you may not want to hear. But anyways, that's what we do to try to keep you guys informed, and we really appreciate you hanging on during this lull in the action, I guess you can say. But there'll be more to come. I love the travel part of things, but I think we're going to try to enjoy the areas that we're going to. I mean, each one's 3 weeks. So, yeah. All right, Heidi will close it out.
As always, we hope to see you out here. Bye.
Bye.